and welcome to Trucking Answers Monday live show. It's 1 p.m. wherever you are on the planet. Today is going to be a great show. There's going to be some snow coming up to the Great Lakes area here this week, so please be careful with that. Of course, it's Roller Wiener Monday, so get your wieners out, and we're going to have some roller wieners. They're delicious, you know, as we all know. So today we got a lot of good stuff going on today. What is happening anyway this week? Well, we still didn't get to AB 1999. I got some more stock price updates. Hey, there's a PAM settlement. Celadon auction. Do you have any Celadon equipment like in your parking lot or your driveway? Hey, there's an auction going to happen. What's a driver shot over parking? And we've never talked about that. So there's a little bit of more information out about that. And so maybe we can get to talk to that about that today. There's always some pictures that I have and stuff like that is going on in the news, among many other things in trucking, which of course is the greatest career on the planet. All right, so here we go right here, and I'm doing clicky things. For people that don't know, I do a lot of this. All right, so first was Michael Muller on Wednesday sent me a screenshot. Later that day, Irishman sent a screenshot, but he did beat you with the screenshot on Wednesday. And today on my screen, I had Wild Bill being first on what I saw here on my screen. So there we go. Today. So I want to say hello to the people that are here. Misty's here, going to get a new job. Maybe Martin Brower. I hear a lot of good stuff about that. That is really good. It's good to see you today. Wild Bill is here today, as we see. Trucker Hershey is going to have a big announcement today. I'm waiting for it. Michael Muller has joined us today. Jim Trucker, hello. Kim English. It's good to see you today. Wilbon, all right. Good morning to you. What is happening out there? The Healthy Highwayman is out here today, cruising around. As I go down here, Darnell is here. Yeah, get in the party row. That's the east side of Ontario, of course. Chris, I did get the picture, and I have it up here today to show everybody that they do exist. They really do. Thank you for being here today. Let's see here. Where am I? I lose my spot all the time. Eddie McFadden is here. It's good to see you, Michael Cole. Hey, how's that TV? Did that all happen? What's going on with that? Beta Bears, hello there. Eddie McFadden, there I go. You say first. I didn't see that. It just, I get a different screen, I think, than everybody. Trucker Josh, hello there. Windfall, Indiana, nice. Ursel, hello there. It's good to see you. Al Johns, welcome to the show. Fleet Nav Systems is here. Oh, I should do the card thing then, right? You should have had that in advance. Okay. Fleet Nav Systems is here. If you have a question, put at Fleet Nav Systems there. Geotab experts, ELD questions, E-log questions. They're here to answer your questions. So thank you for being here today. It's good to see you. All right. There's that screen right there. How about that? Dave Johnson, the dramatic intro. Yeah, I don't hear it, so I'm glad everybody's hearing it. So I appreciate that. Not authorized. Billy Big Rigger is checking in. That's good to see. They're around at night, I'll tell you. Weekend spectacular weather. It was very nice. 50s. Almost busted out the wax, but for the car, didn't do it. Vamp Press, hello there. Trucker Beetle Bailey, hello. I got your email. Stephen Foster, hello there. Let's see. Here we go. And Ryan O is here. Willie Cooper, it's 80 degrees there. Wow, Nathan, snow is melting in the Twin Cities. We're going to get a little bit of snow later this week, though. So that's not great. You know, it's going to be close here. I don't know, Al John, you were it first. But no demerits. Right, thank you. I appreciate it. On time, if you wear it, make it a parrot as always. Always wear a parrot to stay safe and legal. Shout out from Southern Oregon, Daniel. Wow, what's happening out there? A bunch of your DOT officers just had to resign because they got busted in some kind of sting operation in Oregon. I thought that was on the news. I thought that was pretty interesting. Trucker Hershey says big storm coming later in the week. I know it's going to be really close here with the temperature, but maybe 80, 94 and north of that is going to be where it's going to go. Roger Penske, hippie, it gets longer than this sometimes, right? I'll get cleaned up this week here. Martin Brower's high pay delivers at McDonald's. Right, you do work, but presumably you get all the Big Macs or whatever that you can eat. I don't know, fries. I don't know how that works. I assume that you get fed at the stores. And I bet some stores, if you're nice to them, would feed you. All I'm telling you is people that write to me from Martin Brower like it, that it pays well, and they like working there. So, Craig, can't load till Wednesday. Are they paying you between now and Wednesday? Matthew Carlson, hello from Cleveland. Richard C., hey, what's going on? Gregory Jones, cloudy in the Smoky Mountains. Well, So it's the Smoky Mountain rain. That's always the problem. He's statistically less likely to die not wearing a red shirt. That is correct, right? That's very good, and I do love the Star Trek reference. Of course, I play Star Trek Online, so anybody out there that's on Star Trek Online, please come and find me. No one yet has, which is hard to believe. Hey, I'm from Cleveland, too. All right, Douglas D. Love the show from Redding, California. Dustin, I appreciate it. You're in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. What is getting loaded up there anyway? Alexander, hello. The weather's terrible in East St. Louis. No point in cleaning the truck today. Had to get new tires and lube today. Oh, do they do that on the road for you? Is that how they do it? Hey, James Faust, it's good to see you. Is GP Transco in the house? Sometimes they are here, and here's the picture that was sent to me by a very astute viewer this week as I looked down the thing of the GP Transco truck in Indiana. That is hard to believe, although, we can't determine from the background, but I'm going to say this is in Indiana. Man, what are they doing? They're getting closer. They're edging closer and closer. Eventually, I'm going to get to see one. So look out for that. But I haven't seen this color yet of GP Transco, but they apparently are around. Just not, they're getting closer, though. That one was, not that far from me. Getting scary. On the way home and stuck in Wyoming, 80 is closed. Oh, again. Didn't they open it for a little bit and then close it again? That's awesome. Ansel, Penelope, Rain Blossom Smith. I love that. Martin Brower also delivers Chipotle. Oh, I never have seen them over there. I thought it was like a McDonald's exclusive. And anything is easier than a pneumatic tanker at 110 degrees in a mine. That's true. And some of the stuff, when you go in the front, you deliver all the refrigerated stuff. I've seen them do it at the stores, so not terrible. And, what you're saying, right, with the benefits and that, right, they do keep people for a long time, even though it's work. Hey, if you can deliver in a 110-degree mine, I think you can deliver hamburger buns. Ralph, what's going on? Good afternoon. Sergeant Metalhead, great weather in Boston. You're getting what we had yesterday. Misty likes physical work. It's good for weight loss and overall health. That's true, right? You'll do that, at least you'll live for a while, instead of, drivers sitting and then dying at 50 years old. So absolutely, I agree, right? It's good for you, too. Trucking with Otis, hello. Truck is my go-to binge watch in the truck. Live long and prosper, Chris Steeper. Thank you very much. As well to you, always. And remember, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Alexandra, no, our yard is in East St. Louis. Oh, you declined a horrible load, so they're taking the chance to bring your truck. Well, that's good. So I know some companies, depending on how far you're over or whatever, will say take it to the truck stop or whatever, and they'll have a service done. So, hey, at least getting done on time, right? Sometimes when they get busy here, I've gone pretty far over on service, but it's their truck. I'm like, hey, it's due, when you can get it in. Oh, yeah, went like 100,000. And they're like, well, we're finally ready for you. I'm like, wow, it's like doing an oil change in your car every couple of years. Checking in on your reset from Lincoln, Rhode Island. Hello, Stephen. Hey, what's going on there? Top Epiconic. Good morning. Fleet Nav System, which truck series, which one, what does that mean? They're all great. Trucking Wife number 1, good afternoon. It's good to see you. Derek, greetings from Mississippi. What do I know about Texas oil field work? Have I done it? No, I haven't. People write to me and say it's awesome and that they make a lot of money, and then other people write to me and say they sit a lot. So I think it seems to be company by company, but now this has been many years ago. A friend of mine went to the oil fields in North Dakota, and he made about $2,300 net to him every single week, and spent it all at the casinos. He was there a year and came home with like $500. But he goes, I had the best time of my life or whatever. So I guess, he's like, I don't know, he's having the time of his life up there. But that's the only thing that I know about it. I know up there they made good money. GP Transco turned you down, Trucking with Otis. Yeah, they're kind of particular at GP Transco. I don't know why they don't get me involved in that. But what was this? Did they tell you what the story was? Why did they turn you down? I know that once their article came out a few months ago about them being one of the highest paid companies in the country, they had literally hundreds of applications come in so they could be a little more selective about it. And apparently other people have written into and said, I got this one thing and they turned me down. So yeah, they're pretty selective. Chef Matt Hammerschmidt. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? We're doing great. It's a great day to be alive, which is basically any day. Roger Penske, wait till you see those colors on hat and socks. All right. That's going to be good. You need to get a picture of those out. I don't have any of that stuff, so yeah, get those pictures out there. George H.W. Bush, the president, is here. I wish I had hail to the chief. I saw GP Transco truck in Ludington, Michigan. Not teal. Right. That's the normal truck. Just stay south of 40 and you'll be fine. Yeah. I wish. McDonald's owns Chipotle. Do they really? That photo's been doctored. I don't believe it. Well, we can't tell what state the photo's from. So, but I'm just going to take his word for it that it's in Indiana. I think what they're doing, they're just creeping a little closer, and to see if I can find one, but I can't. You saw New England Motor Freight bobtailing in New York. Maybe they sold that thing off like Celadon. Do you have a Celadon truck in your driveway? Is there one on your property? Well, the bankruptcy judge came out this last week and appointed Ritchie Brothers Auctions to auction off their equipment and said anybody that has one, a third party that's in possession of one, which would be anybody other than them, is to give the truck as soon as practically possible to Ritchie Brothers. So you need to contact them to give them their truck back. Now, I don't know if they're paying a finder's fee. It didn't say that. If you know where one is, maybe call Ritchie Brothers and say, hey, I know where a truck is. What are you paying for information? And, I don't know. Is that fair? Maybe. If they don't want to pay, you can say, well, I don't know. I forgot where it was. I don't know. If you do have the truck, you're supposed to give it back to them. So that's what they're saying. And there was currently no finder's fee. So I don't know how that will work. I'm the guy we talked about Fairmonts in December. Oh, sweet. The big news is I got hired at GP Transco. Trucker Hershey. Well, that's great. Are you already there? Are you working there? And what do you think now that you're there? And that's people from any company, right? They have an office in L.A. Oh, right. Have you seen Picard yet? No, I'm not watching Picard because you have to pay, and I'm not paying. I've been a fan from the early 70s. The reason this all goes on is because of people like me that watched from when we were little kids. The show basically changed my whole view of science and everything, which I won't go into that. People don't care about that. But I'll tell you this. I've watched it all along, and I'm not paying, CBS All Access to watch the show, which does commercials, even after you pay. They can put it on TV, and I'll watch the commercials. I'm just not going to pay. And I know you can pay one time for a month and binge it or whatever. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I make my own show every day on Star Trek Online. Read the email I just sent now. I can't do that. I'm on the show. Okay, I saw a See Ya Done truck Friday with a trailer. See ya done. Oh, right. Maybe they were headed to the auction because supposedly Ritchie Brothers is going around and picking them up. I don't know. By now, the batteries would be dead, and a lot of them, I think. So GPS locating the tractors, if they haven't been turned on since the beginning of December, would be a problem. So I don't know what they're doing. Willie Cooper, my company, respects me and doesn't force you to go in the snow and run in the south only. That's great. Most companies at least make you go in the snow. But I guess if you can get a south route, hey, more power to you. Brian quit driving in October after 20 years. Best decision you ever made. Why do you think so? And what are you doing instead of driving? So, drivers are usually not doctors or, PhDs or whatever. So what are you doing instead of driving? And there are other jobs, certainly. But what did you decide to go do instead of drive a truck? Good afternoon, Imperial Sync. It's good to see you. Hi, Huntley. Just past a place in Louisiana, they're dismantling Celadon trailers, wondering if they give five-finger discount trailers. So do you think this place is legitimately dismantling the trailers? Because they're being sold at the court. Or is this kind of like the place in Chicago, which will take basically anything you bring them, pay you cash money and no receipt, and they just immediately take the trailer apart? Because once they dismantle it, it's just gone, right? Misty's been trying for months to get on at Martin Brower. I kept following up, and when a position opened, they called me. I'm feeling confident the guy that road tested me backed into a truck parking before the road tested before me backed into a truck. Oh, good. So you're doing better than them. So some companies take months to get you on, and then some can't get enough drivers. That people quit all the time. I wonder why that is. So is there a driver shortage? I guess not at Martin Brower. Isn't that funny how that is? Old Klingon proverb, revenge is a dish that's best served cold and eaten with the hands. That's exactly correct. Very rainy and 45 degrees in Missouri. Cash is King Trucking. All right. Well, at least it's rain, right? Another 20 degrees, and that'd be a problem. Fleet Nav system, they're all great. I was wondering which one was watching. Oh, I know. I'm just saying. It doesn't matter. Whichever he's watching is awesome. Hey, Mark and Gracie. Hope well is with you. Greetings from South Carolina. Ruth, yes, we're doing good. Gracie's in the back sleeping. She's disgusted with my moving around here, so I'm sure she'll be out here to get her lunches soon. Thanks for being here. Trucking with Otis. Oh, you don't know why they turned you down? Don't companies say why they turn you down? I'm just curious. I've been at my place, almost 18 years now, so I haven't applied anywhere in a long time. So I just wonder if they say, hey, this is why we turned you down, or just no thanks. Because I'd want to know. If I otherwise qualify for their qualifications, I'd kind of want to know what is the problem. Because maybe it's something you can fix. Maybe there's something wrong or a mistake on your DMV that you may not even know about that they show and it's not true. And that's something you could fix and still get hired on. So maybe it's something you can fix. That's all I'm saying. Alexander has an Uncle Hall's Tankers in North Dakota out of Williston. Okay, does that still pay anything now? I mean, the oil field isn't what it was, but, and this guy I knew lived in his truck. He would stay out 3 weeks in the truck, and they paid him 24 hours a day for the whole time that he was out there. And so that's why he made so much money. And then when you got a week off or whatever. Chris Tieber's watching Enterprise right now. Next up is DS9. Oh, right. I love it. Plus the dog, too. Don't forget about Porthos. Nobody turns me down. You tell him, hey, I'm going to work there whether you like it or not. Nick actually opted to get a white GP Transco truck. Oh, well, I don't ever guarantee. I don't know. I don't guarantee the truck. So I don't guarantee a teal truck. They do have some. It's $1,000 a week guarantee there, by the way, for the GP Transco. And I didn't know they gave you a choice. Did they give you a choice of truck model, too? That'd be pretty awesome. Mark earned a like. I appreciate that. Shoot, what's up? Got my first PS4 that you want on here. Okay, so you did. All right, so that's pretty awesome. And that was given away by GP Transco. And so that's pretty awesome of them to do that. I appreciate that. Enterprise is not good. TNG, Voyager are the best. They're in the same timeline. They're all good. I'm going to have to go that they're all good. I mean, we got to know the pre-story. I had a lot of problems with it with the timeline and, time consistency and stuff, but let's be watchful. We should talk about that on Star Trek Online. Get on the game. It's free to play the whole game. So let's be watchful for our 2- and 3-wheeler friends now that riding with us here. I'm a triker myself and give ample room. No doubt, right? Motorcycles, anything, trikes, whatever people have. Be careful, for crying out loud. Captain Sisko is a boss. There's a lot of Star Trek fans. That's really great. I took the photo on Thursday at the I-70 westbound rest stop outside of Greenville. I know, that's pretty close to me. They're creeping in over here. For a while, you couldn't get a teal truck on this side of basically the Illinois-Indiana border, and now they seem to be creeping over here. Cash is king. At one point, McDonald's owns 90% of Chipotle, but they divested years ago. I guess they still use the trucks for their deliveries, though. And we have a Chipotle. I haven't been over there in a long time. Now I should go get Chipotle today, I guess. Misty rides is a biker chick also and has a Harley. That's pretty awesome. How about an Indian? I was looking at those on the web just the other day. I configured one and was $32,000. I'm like, oh. Trucker Hershey gave 2 weeks notice. Turn truck in next Monday and taking 1 week off, and the orientation. Oh, their orientation is full. See, so it's a company who doesn't need any more people right away, as opposed to places we can get you in immediately, right? So I'm just curious about the truck situation. I love the 1960s Star Trek. I know, that's what started it all. The OK Corral show, I'll just say, my favorite episode ever. That's where I really got into physics and science. And I was like 5 years old when I watched it, so I remember. That was like a memorable moment. I guess McDonald's is finally trying to go after Taco Bell. Oh, are they going to serve tacos too like Burger King? Now, okay, I ate that Burger King taco. I tried one, and I thought, oh my God, this thing is completely horrible. So, and I don't even know if they still sell them, but they were just terrible. The Next Generation and Voyager are the best. I know people don't remember about Voyager. Have to give DS9 a better chance, though. Yeah, it's kind of a different thing. I love Voyager, too. I just love it. Major Kira smoking well. That's a good reason to watch the show. It's science. Willie Cooper, all I did was tell them where I wanted to go, and they respected it. Okay. Well, hey, that's worth something, too. That's even more than most places will do. So that is good. Trailers are deadly. They can be, right. Please don't crowd us in traffic and watch changes in the road surface. Could be dangerous. I agree. Motorcycles will be coming out. Not here for a few days, at least around here, I think. But yeah, be careful. Always watch. Well, Bill, who do I drive for? And I looked at the clock again. I have to get out of that habit. I don't know why I do that. So I'll probably do that even in person. Mats, don't forget about Mats. For new people, right, I don't tell people where I drive. It just keeps them out of my videos. And I think that's a better move because then they can't come out and say, oh, well, we don't like what you said there. Take that down or whatever. Also, I don't recruit for them. So, and let them recruit for themselves. How many, 80% of drivers, 75% probably of drivers on YouTube are just recruiting. There are some, that's all they do. Every video is just a recruiting video. Look at me, how much money I'm making. I'm recruiting. Right, forget it. Let them get their own drivers. And so that's how I follow that. The data's hotter. Well, hey, however it works. What do you think about the driver that was shot in Oklahoma City by the truck stop security? Yeah, I have that up as a thing today. The driver that was shot in Oklahoma City. Now, I read like a ton of articles today about it to catch up. And part of the incident report apparently has come out. Now, of course, you shouldn't be shot over a parking place, but is it worth fighting somebody over a parking place? The police that were on the scene said that they were fighting. Okay, so I don't know if you fight a guard over a parking spot. Should he have moved? Yes. If you're in a spot that you didn't pay for, you don't have any right to be there. In fact, you don't have any right to be on the property at all. They can kick you off all the property, so he should have moved. Should he be shot for it? There's conflicting reports about it, that he's fighting. Is there a weapon? Apparently nobody has said the driver had a weapon, so should he be shot for it? I don't know. Probably not, right? Would you say no to that? Here's the thing about the guard, though. The guard, from every report, is just in an unmarked truck and didn't have a uniform on. So all the drivers know is some dude coming up to him telling him to move. So the other thing is, why does the TA have guards going around to do this? How would I do that? I would solve this way better at a truck stop than having a guard tell you to move. I'd have a tow truck sitting there and a sign. If you park in the spot and didn't pay, you're going to be towed immediately. That's how you solve the parking. You don't go shooting drivers. Apparently the driver's going to live. And they didn't see that the guard was fired. And as of this morning, he's not been charged, which I think is interesting. That the police investigated on the scene, did not arrest him. And they're going to put the information to the DA. But as of right now, he's not been charged with any crime. So, and these are people that are investigating it. What do we think about that he's not been charged? So, is the fight enough where the police think, hey, this guy had a right to defend himself and this is what he happened to have on? That's the problem when you go fight somebody. You don't know what they got on him. This guy, you could have a gun. People have stuff. They have swords. People could have whatever they have. You don't know what's going to come out. They can have those nail things that come out like, Johnny Depp. Who knows? Should you be shot for a spot? No. But should you fight somebody for a parking spot? No. The problem is when you're the shot, you're the one that's dead. It's 60 and sunny in Rhode Island. That's awesome. I saw a Celadon trailer at a shop in Georgia. Looked like they had it blocked in. They're trying to get paid, right, but Celadon doesn't exist anymore. They're in bankruptcy court. The court decides if they get paid. All they have is a claim, right? They have a claim for the court. They can submit that claim to the court and say, all right, Celadon owes us, because it's a debt of Celadon. Say it's $1,000. They owe us $1,000. And the court will decide, okay, well, all debtors, unsecured debtors, which is what this place is, gets 10 cents on the dollar, and you get $100. That's how it works. That's how it works. Looking for a carrier to put my son at when he gets out of the Army in April. What are your recommendations in Detroit? Who's got something in the big Detroit? I got stuck on Vale Pass, and I'd have to know more to throw something right away. But if there's somebody who works up there, JAT's up there, we got to know more about your kid. I got stuck on Vale Pass, Sarah, about 2 weeks ago, and I had to pull off the road because they closed it. Yeah. So went to sleep, woke up, snowed at the top of the steps, had to get towed out. Not one of my better days. Well, at least you weren't injured or anything, right? Crossing 70 is a real problem in the wintertime. Maybe you're forced to, or that's where the load is. I would recommend always the south route if you can do it. That was wrong shooting him over a parking space. They could have let the police handle it. Well, that's true too. I mean, here's the thing. We don't know the whole story. Did he come right out and grab the guy so he can't get away? We don't know everything about it. But should he back off and call the police? Absolutely. It's not the security guard's job to shoot people who are in a parking spot. Hey, okay, well, I'll just kill you. No, that's not how it works, right? Should they call the police? Right. But the TA shouldn't have security guards removing people. They should have a tow truck sitting there. And I bet you'd get a lot more compliance at a parking spot like that if you thought your truck was going to be towed away. GP Transco is here. Hello. So I had this up just a moment ago. There's GP Transco to contact them to get in an orientation that's coming up. It's good to see you today. get ready for some snow up there by your neighborhood. Thank you for Wild Bill for getting a question that way. T-Man, good afternoon. CB talking gear, jamming, pedal to the metal, king of the road. Hope everyone is having a great day. It's a great day on Mondays. Yeah, said Trucker Hershey joins GP Transco. I hope it goes good over there for you. And bring a teal truck by. Have you heard anything further about the Swift lawsuit money in your opinion? Yes. Yeah, they said April. There was an article about it that said that the checks should go out in early April. So this is for people that leased a truck from, which is really renting, from Interstate Equipment Leasing from Swift over many years. Okay, and you've already gotten a letter about it and all that if you're involved in it. So, but the article came out and said that your check for your part of the settlement, and it varies with each person, based on how long you leased a truck from them, the checks go out in early April. So expect a check in early April. That's because the settlement was approved by the court. The final settlement was approved. It has so many days to be funded. That's what the waiting is. Swift is going to fund the fund, and then the checks go out. So if you've moved, if you're entitled to that money and you've moved too, they said, be sure to forward them your new address. So some people are getting $500. Some people are getting $5,000. Well, from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, what's going on, Thin Pizza? What's going on, James Gazillo, Thin Pizza? Yikes. Pizza you can see through. TJ Jones in the Bull of the Woods is here today. And as usual, I've lost my spot, which is not quite super unusual for me. And so where did I go off to? Oh, am I that far back? Yikes. I've totally lost my spot. Yeah, there we go. Holy moly. Too many stipulations to get 1,000 guarantee. Over TP doesn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe OTR. 1,000 guarantee. Any guarantee is better always than nothing, because believe me, on this end of it, I get letters from people that say, I'm working at a company and I made $300 this week because I sat. Now what? The guarantee, that's exactly what a guarantee is for. What if it sucks? I call a new teal truck. I did a water hauling job once, made $2,000 a week, but I was also working 18 to 20 hours a day, no ELDs. Yeah, in the oil fields, he would work all the time. He'd sit in line, have to move up, sit in line, move up, but he made a lot of money. He did make a lot of money. Cisco takes out an entire Maquis colony with the Defiant. Look, that battle cloak, that's got you going right there. Give me a heavy hauling company that'll train. I don't know that many heavy hauling companies. You may want to contact Geeks Trucking. And he does heavy haul, and he's got an RGN trailer, and he's on YouTube. He may know more about that than me. That heavy hauling, I'm not sure. Troy, you mean Troy Roger Penske, right? I met her. I've been to a dozen conventions all around the Midwest here. Chipotle is nice. I love it. Odo or Data. Data all the way, of course. About 10 years ago, he told me he was making six figures, Alexander, in so many words. Between him and my grandmother's why I'm a trucker now. Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, 6 figures would have been even better. But you can still do that in the oil fields from what I understand. That's not bad money. That's pretty good money, right? Had a choice when I got mine. I chose the Volvo. That's a very good choice. That's what I would take as well. The Volvo, unless they had a 13-speed. I would take whatever had a 13-speed, and then I would take a Volvo. I love Picard and the other Star Trek on CBS Online. I'm just not paying. It's just offensive to me because that's why they are there, because I watched this in the 70s and have watched it ever since. Pretty simple once you go over it with the drivers. Yeah, the 1,000 is not that complicated. Don't know any steps on the 1,000 guarantee. There's certainly some. You have to be available for a certain period of time and all that. My first time running it from work, and the Honda keep rudely making me move trailers. What is up with that? Tell them, hey, go on break right now. What's with the Honda? What's with the hours of service and a driver being shot? So the hours of service, they said, okay, here's what the FMCSA said about hours of service 2020. They said the new hours of service are, quote, still under review. They're reading all of your comments still. And so they said we, quote, don't have a timeline for when we are going to put this out. So there's currently no timeline, according to the FMCSA. That's what they just talked about last week at some conference, that they don't have a timeline. They're reviewing everything, and they're going to look it over. And what's been talked about in other politics in that they don't want to change the hours of service because no matter what they do with it, somebody's going to be mad. This group will be mad. That group will be mad. And because of the election, they speculated these are other people speculated that they may not change hours of service until after the election. Maybe. Wouldn't that be great? Holy mackerel. That's the end of the year, from what I understand from public school. And this driver being shot, what do we think about the driver being shot? Should you be shot from parking in a parking spot? No. Should you go fight a guard? No. The guard should say move. And if he doesn't move, then the guard says, okay. And then he gets in his car. This is how it should have gone. He knocks on the door. Hey, you're in a spot you didn't pay. You should move your truck. The guy can say, I'll move. I won't move. Get lost. Whatever he says. And then you go, oh, the guard leaves and says, okay. He gets in his car and leaves and calls the police if he won't move. That's how it should have ended. And the police would make him move. And the truck stop could trespass him off. Nobody needs to be shot. The driver doesn't need to get out and fight the guard. The guard doesn't need to be aggressive about it, which is apparently what happened. They said he, quote, banged on the door, woke the driver up, although the driver said he was only there for a quick 30-minute break. But apparently he, quote, woke the driver up. So I don't know what he's doing. Either way, doesn't have a right to be in the spot, shouldn't be shot. Guard, if he won't move, he calls the police or talks to management inside. Alexander, by the way, I called CRST recruiting to screw with them. Oh, that would have been great. Oh, you should have recorded that. I don't know what the laws are in Iowa. So what did they have to say about that? Burger King has tacos. They had dollar tacos for a while, and they're horrible. Completely bad. I don't even know if they still do them. They were really bad. A burger place shouldn't make tacos. That's why you don't get hamburgers at Taco Bell, which ironically, right here in town, are right next to each other. For $1,000 a week, driver needs to be available 5 days and earn less than $1,000. Yeah, okay, that's pretty simple. So that's the thing of a guarantee. You sit, you have some problem where you have to sit, you're broke down, you're in the snow, you know you're going to at least make $1,000. So you got 52 guaranteed, plus you'll make more than that. But at least on those weeks, you don't get down to these $300 checks. I get these letters all the time. Everybody constantly get this kind of thing, and I'm really sad about it. Fleet Nav says skip them, they're gross. So you tried them too. I would have been better off eating the dollar bill, I think, than handing it over to Burger King. I mean, just not great at all. Cash is King Trucking has the saying of the day. The Burger King taco looks the same going in as it does coming out. Share again. Oh, nice. A hot shot trucking better than driving a semi? I don't know. I've never done it. Are there hot shots on here at all? Anyone here done it? I don't know what that might pay. Hey, Cash is King, how much are hot shot loads going for on the load boards? No job in my town. How far would you drive every day to get a job? 10 minutes. I don't know, half hour. It depends where you live. If you live in East Armpit, you're not going to have any choice but to drive somewhere. If it was a long way, I'd move before I'd drive. My car, I just had an oil change probably a month ago now. I put 1,400 miles on the car since April going to work. So that's how far I drive to go to work. 7 of 9 on Voyager. I never got to meet her. She's in the new Star Trek Online, though. They just put her into a new episode. Apparently, it's only me that plays it. It's only for when there's really bad weather and a driver was down for like 3 days for a situation where running is out of the driver's control. GP Transco. Exactly. That's exactly what a guarantee is for. When there's problems, and sometimes you get a week where there's like multiple problems that none of them are your fault. There was a load problem, and then I broke down, and then the road's closed, and it snows, and they're all in 1 week. And so you're like, crap, I didn't get any loads this week or whatever. You still get your $1,000. Well worth having a guarantee. So there's not going to be some $200 check coming to your house. What is my bowling average? I do not bowl much. So I do use a 6-pound ball. So, there we go. I'm in the hundreds. Let's put it that way. It's home time that screws with that. Yeah. Where do I know a Trucker Hershey from? I don't know. Wish my employer had a promised pay. That's one of the downfalls of LTI. Yeah, you should have said, hey, look, this is coming in the industry. Some employers are open to this kind of stuff and say, hey, let's talk about having a guarantee here, Because for those weeks when there's a problem, it's nice to get a guarantee. Itchvox. Is it fair for a company to charge me insurance for a month, which is $1,200 Canadian? Wow, that's a lot. That's metric, though, so I'm not sure. If I took 1 month off and parked my truck in front of my house, I'm an owner-operator. Yes. I would say yes to that. My car's parked outside right now, and I still have to pay insurance. So even if I don't drive it, I still have to pay insurance on the car. So, yeah. Yep, you pay insurance. A little Islamic justice will go a long way. That's probably true. Mark doesn't recruit. That's why we value his opinion. Peter, I appreciate that very much. And I think that, that does then you can keep your opinion. You don't have to say, oh, well, Mark is getting paid by that company, or he's not going to recruit for them because he's not being paid. So I think there's something to that. Although, a lot of a lot of people get paid, salesmen and stuff. That doesn't mean they're not giving you the truth also. There's also that side of it. So, but it can, hurt people's opinion. You don't pay for parking, you don't get to park. Cat lift research. I agree. I mean, you don't have a right to be you don't have the right to be at the truck stop. You don't. People think, oh, it's open. Well, no, they can say, you know what? We don't want you here anymore. Get out. The TA has guards. I was surprised at that too. Which TA has armed guards? This guy's an armed security guard. Trucker Hershey GP transfer, so you get 2-hour detention. You don't get, say, a $180 a week bonus. I don't know how the bonus works there. Well, he committed suicide. The driver was the Mr. Epstein. I heard that security guard had committed suicide. That might happen. I was asked to move from. Are you saying that security that was not in today? I was reading the news today about it. There was no word about that. I was asked to move from a TA once in Vegas, but after I told him that Sarah. So what? Let's see. There's got to be an end to that. Why would anyone in their right mind deal with truck stops? I avoid them like the plague. Fuel and get out. That's true. The less time you spend there, but you got to park somewhere. I never liked parking at customers. I always liked parking at a truck stop. Number one, I could get a shower. But, a number of times I would get woke up. And, they'll wake me up. I remember this Kraft woke me up. I'm parked in the back, not in the docker, and they're waking me up at like 3:30 in the morning. I hadn't been there that long. And he's like, oh, we broke your seal. Go back in the door. We'll unload you right away. I'm like, my appointment's like 9 o'clock or something. Oh, yeah, we're going to get you done early. I'm like, I didn't want to get done early. I wanted to sleep. So they don't do that when you're at the truck stop. Cash is King Trucking. That's why I'm investing in medieval gear from the Loves, because the truckers getting shot in these fights. Yeah, if you came out with that, I think that would be good. Plus your other trucker product that you had mentioned the other day. When there's paid parking lots, there's always guards. Really? All the guards has to say is okay that he was fear of his life, and by the law, it's legal, not necessarily right. Yeah, well, and there are reports, eyewitness reports, that they were fighting. And the truck driver and the guard were fighting, which there's no point for either of them to fight about this. Let's be honest about that. No point. You don't have to fight over the spot. The guard, all he should do is say, look, you can't park here. You got to move your truck. You didn't pay. And then if he says no or doesn't, whatever he does, you leave. Then the guard leaves and goes and does whatever. He doesn't sit there to shoot him. Kevin H., my friend got knifed in Hunts Point. Wow, that's not a great place, but did he get knifed by a guard up there? I was only doing a 30. They let me stay. That I was only doing a 30. Oh, and they let you stay. Well, that was nice of them. This guy said he was doing a 32, so the one thing said. Walmart was denied a rehearing by the court. Yes, I talked about that a little bit ago. That's correct. They were denied rehearing, and they feel that it was totally wrong, and they pay their drivers very well. But California is very, enforcement oriented for employees, which is nice. Oh, okay, GP transfer. This is interesting. The extra bonus is a profit sharing bonus. Driver must perform well and loads to be delivered on time, and the driver gets a bonus because the company makes more money. Turn it into a pay-per-view fighting event so drivers can make more money. That's something. What do you know about Heartland? Well, I'd rather you did the Millis part of it. Heartland, another mega carrier. Is there anybody here that drives for Heartland right now? Have you ever seen a UFO or other unexplained phenomenon while trucking at night in the sticks? Many years ago, this is probably the early 90s, I remember coming across Arizona, and there were some lights in the sky, and I'm like, oh, that's really something. And 2 RVs, black RVs, because I remember this like it just happened, with like no windows in them, just flew past me. And I was like, that's the weirdest thing, but that's as weird as I've come to that. I never saw any, railroad gates come down. I've never had to make anything out of mashed potato, none of that. But that, I did see that. George Wilson, Misty enjoys the ride. Motorcycles need rooms. Exactly. So do trikes and anything. And cars, too. We have the right full use of the road. That's correct. They get the whole lane. Just like anybody else. You don't get to, creep next to them. Motorcycle gets the whole lane. I don't have a bike now. I haven't for many years. I did drive a KZ400. How about that? So, Kawasaki KZ400 and learned on an LTD 440, I think is what I learned on. Truck Stop Rumble winner gets the parking spaces, $39.99. Does Flying J still sell pizza? I hope so. It was always very good. When the drivers don't get their bonus, it's usually they're being late or unsafe driving violation that week. It happens. Next, but the good thing at GP Transco is you can start your bonus over the next week. It's not like you have to wait another quarter or whatever like that. So that's pretty good. I've seen drivers park at paid spots they didn't pay for. When someone knocked on the door, they would ignore the knock. I know they were inside the truck. Misty, I agree with you. That's why they should have a tow truck. They should totally have a tow truck there and just hook the truck up. Let them pay $750 to park in that spot to drop their truck or whatever. Because if they're going to have this paid parking, they should enforce it. If I reserve a spot, I don't just want my $15 refunded to me. I want the spot that I paid for. So totally agree. Chris Streeper, I'm not paying for Picard either. I agree with you. I've spent enough money on Star Trek over the years that they should just run it on TV and let us watch it and then sell all the merch or whatever. That'd be fine with me. No cell phone. How does he do that? Tacos shouldn't have beef in them? I don't know about that. Alexander the recruiter didn't know anything and said they don't do hiring of folks owing debt to other companies and also come after drivers for owed debts. Oh, really? And they said that. Well, they're right. So they wouldn't hire you if you have a debt to another company. Well, at least they're being, straight up about it, certainly. What's up, Mark? I'm still upset with Maverick for the cameras, Michael Watts. So am I. I don't get it, but the drivers there could stop that today because they're only in a few trucks. It's not like they're in all the trucks or anything yet. The end of that is today, but once they start creeping in, it's over. Peter, wait, if you're under load, you can't be towed to interstate commerce laws? No, they can tow you off of private property because you don't have any right to be on private property. None. You have zero right to be under that. And if you couldn't be towed, Walmart, those Walmarts in Kentucky that were doing a lot of towing, wouldn't be able to do that. They can tow you right off their property. Buy a real taco in Texas, Alexandra. Then she proceeded to try to explain to me how that would work, and I explained to her how illegal a non-compete contract is. You notice they didn't sue the drivers. CRST, when they did that lawsuit, they didn't sue the driver. And my opinion, which is not a lawyer opinion, of course, is that the drivers were the ones that violated the contract because the way I saw it was CRST had a deal with the drivers. They don't have a deal with Swift, which is who they sued in this lawsuit. They have a deal with you. So you go there and you go, I'll work for you and or for this period of time. So, and then if you quit and go somewhere else, you violated the contract, not Swift. So, but that's how it worked. I agree. Why would anybody get $1 taco at Burger King when they can go into any truck stop and get a roller wiener? I wanted to try these tacos. I'm like, oh, Burger King. All right. I like the Impossible Whopper, so I'm going to go ahead and try this $1 taco. I'm like, throw a taco on with that. And my recommendation is just eat the $1. Wilbon, good afternoon. Market Trucking Answers fans, it's good to see you. Hotshot is good money. Oh, the good. If you're good equipment and the pay is the same, but the equipment is not as expensive, and you should presumably get better fuel mileage too. That's always been my thought of it. Al Johns, those rent-a-cops called the fuzz on you at the T. The fuzz. Wow. Hey, what's up, copper? The reserved was not visible in the spot. I didn't get shot. That's good. The lady cop was beautiful, but she made you move. Well, did you go out and fight her? And was she aggressive about it? Hey, Fuzz. Hey, hey, Screw, you can't do that to me. Hey, what are you doing in the spot? Oh, my gosh. Saw Creed drivers this week and said most trucks have fifth wheel locked in place. Yeah, right. A lot of ours are, too. Mine isn't, but a lot of them have non-sliding fifth wheels. Many companies do this. Yep. I sure have heard of it. Don't ask me how I do business without a cell phone. I don't understand how do you do business without a cell phone? Why did you make it cold and rainy here, Christina? I know. It's not great, but it could be worse at this time of year. I guess it's going to snow coming up. The security guard killed himself. It's on Oklahoma City News Channel 9. Really? So that must have just happened since I was looking at it. Well, that's not a great outcome of that either. We'll have to check into that and see what happened and why he thought, that. I miss Jack in the Box. Excellent tacos, burgers, not in the Chicago area since the 70s. Yes, there was one there on just off of Wentworth in Calumet City, Illinois. We had a Jack in the Box. Delish. Hot Shots get hired by Landstar. Oh, Landstar has Hot Shots? Hershey, all the day cab Schneider have a stationary fifth wheel and no air dump valve. Okay, so there's another one. Without the dump valve, that's even worse. You should at least get that. Michael Martin gets a 1,500-mile guarantee. Well, I mean, depending on what you make, that could be, what, $750, $900 maybe, $800. That's okay. That's something. It's some kind of guarantee. You know that, you have a minimum on your check. that no matter what happens, if 15 things happen to you that week, you're still going to get at least this much money as long as you're out trying to get work done. I always thought the hotshot as expedited freight. So with E-Log to expedite freight, you would have to run a team operation. That'd be something in a hotshot. How do you run a team in a hotshot? You'd have to have a legal sleeper in that thing. Wasn't it in West Memphis where the guy got shot? No, he was in Oklahoma City on this one, at the TA in Oklahoma, right? Love says armed guards in Gary. Well, yeah, they should. Everybody should bring their own guard with them in Gary at the Gary truck stops. I agree. There's armed guards at the Petra in Atlanta, and they're aggressive for no reason. No, the reason is because they're, rent-a-cops, as people call them, or whatever. Give people a badge and a little bit of power, and, they get really aggressive. They're like, well, I can't be a cop, so I'll go do this or whatever. And they shouldn't do that. The better solution in Oklahoma City is he knocks on the door. The driver says whatever he says because he tells him you got to move, and the driver either yells at him or doesn't say anything or doesn't even answer the door. It doesn't matter what the driver does. And the security guard leaves and then calls the police or waits for a couple minutes, see if he moves. If he doesn't move, he tells management or calls the police. That's how all that should end. That's all the guard needs to do. He needs to go shooting people. George Costanza is late. Not that it's a problem. A driver was shot over parking, or was it in some ghetto? No. Well, a driver was probably shot in a ghetto, but this driver was shot at the TA in Oklahoma City. All right. I think I have Oklahoma down, so I believe that's it, the right one. Yeah, a guard came up, asked him to move. He was in a paid spot, didn't pay. There was a fight. Eyewitnesses all say that they were fighting, and the guard pulled a gun. There's armed guards. And shot the driver. The driver is going to live. He's in better condition now, and he's going to survive it. So the TA said they're investigating, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. What people on here are saying, which I didn't read, is that today the guard has shot himself. So I hope that's true in case the family's watching, which I don't know if they are or not, but, I hope that is true. I'm not saying I haven't read it, so certainly possible. That would be even worse outcome of this. Truck stops are a waste. I agree with that. There's never, as I have this here, haven't put this out in a while. Right. There's never a reason for that. Believe me, call this number. That's serious, right? This is the phone number to call. You can go online. You can do whatever you want there. You can be anonymous. Please call that number. Suicide is never a solution to any problem. There's always a better solution than that. Mob, family of the guards is saying he rented a gun from the gun range and killed himself inside the gun range. Oh my God. I mean, that's even worse. That is terrible. I wonder what he thought, That's really something. That is a total shame. That shouldn't happen. I'm going to pass that suggestion of a pay promise to Christian. Yeah, look, you can just be in there and say, look, there's other companies out here. How about, $1,000 or something as a bottom so that we don't have to worry. Drivers are, I'll put it like that, stress. It'll make us safer drivers. That's even better, which it does. You don't have to stress, oh my gosh, and now I got to really run hard because I only got a $300 check. And really at most companies, they don't, $1,000 or whatever, they don't have to pay it most weeks. Right, let's be honest. Most people, most weeks don't get it. But for those few weeks or whatever, you don't have to worry about coming home with a really tiny check. It's money well spent, I think, by the company because it keeps drivers and it keeps you happy and it keeps everybody less stressed, which results in less accidents. I think it's a good idea. Petra in Atlanta is a wasteland. Sweet. Is the one north? There was one north of Atlanta there that I can't remember the city, like 25 minutes north, that used to have idle air. I used to go in that one all the time. They say the guard was a former driver. Oh my gosh, there must have been a news story after about noon. TA let you block your spot if your truck is parked. You got to go to the shop so no one can take it. If your truck is parked, I'm okay with that. Right? That's who would take it? A tow truck would take it. California lets you park anywhere I want. That's good of them. Of course, they only let you go 55. 1,500 at 2,500 mile guarantee. Oh, I see. That's even better. $1,500. That's pretty good. That's a big guarantee right there. So you're going to get 75 grand no matter what. Columbia George, greetings, fellow big strappers. Just finished my first delivery. What did I miss? Well, the security guard and the driver that was shot in Oklahoma City, people are reporting here that the security guard has killed himself. So I don't know how that works. Michael Muller, security guard could have said they call the police or tow truck if he doesn't move. Yes, I mean, that's the solution, right? Is to tell him to move. You have to move. I work here at the TA. I'm security. You can't park in this spot. You didn't pay for it, so you have to move. And then whatever the driver says, it doesn't matter. If he tells him to get lost or doesn't say anything, then you just leave and say, okay, I'm gonna have to have you moved. I'm gonna call a tow truck if you don't move. That's it. You don't have to shoot the guy. Comfortable Man says do not drive for Heartland. 50 cents a mile of nothing is nothing unless you have a guarantee. Then 50 cents a mile is $1,000. That's the thing of a guarantee. I had a very strange truck shutdown in front of a graveyard that I passed multiple times a day. Really? That'd be really weird. Oh, I'll tell the wife about that. She'd love that. Had a 440 belt drive, industry leading first. Nice. I don't remember if it had a belt drive or not. Maybe. This would have been in a 82 or 83 probably LTD 440. Yeah, it might have been. I wasn't noticing it then. I used that to get my permit and then my license. In East New York, Brooklyn's drivers park in the streets overnight. Not too safe. Parking on the street, I mean, would seem like it'd be nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking to be because people like here, there's an old Kmart here that's closed down, which turned into some kind of home store. Every once in a while, I'll come home and there's couple trucks parked around. I'm driving by it. I'm like, wow, there's just parked like an empty parking lot. You know there's somebody in that truck. I would just be super nervous. Yes, some Flying J pilots still sell pizza. Good. Can you get 2 of those to go? The oil field can bend certain DOT laws with line 5 on location off duty. That's super awesome. Because we got to get the oil to run all the cars. Park next to a Jewish school. It's safe there. Denny's burgers are nasty. I don't know about that. The Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity, which I think is IHOP. I bought the entire DVD set of DS9 and Voyager. Plus, I own all the movies, too. That is pretty great, right? I got a box set of a lot of that stuff, too. I totally agree with you. You're somebody that should be on Star Trek Online. John Schneider, 20 years oil field. Sometimes there's a lot of money, and sometimes there's a lot of poor, and a lot of hurry up and wait. Right, that's what I'm saying. It seems to be up and down from the people that I talk to. That way you can watch them whenever you want on your time. Exactly correct. I mean, Star Trek Online, for people that don't know, you basically play all the shows. Every episode is a different show from the series. So the Possible Whopper is better than the original Whopper, Alexander. I love it, right? And they say you can't tell the difference. You can tell the difference, okay? Having them side by side, looking at them, eating them, you can tell the difference. It's very good. Jack in the Box has 2 tacos for 99 cents. Still the best deal. I agree. Are they any good now? I haven't been to one since they moved out of here when I was a kid, basically out of the area. And just being in my extreme upper 30s, I haven't been to a Jack in the Box in some time. Burger King is selling $1 tacos. The world's coming to an end. I think they stopped. But I haven't been there in Burger King in a while. But I think they stopped. They were horrible. Just eat the $1. Oh, here's Fleet Nav Systems, right? On location off duty is filed on that 5th line as WT or wait time in Geotab. Is it the same across all ELDs? Oh, do Geotabs have WT wait line in there? I don't think so, right? Wait time? Well, that's a good question for Fleet Nav Systems. Can companies, they must be able to, right, change their Geotab to suit their personal company's policies, like you're not allowed PC or you are, or you're not allowed wait time or you are. And maybe you're only allowed so many miles on it, that kind of thing. So can Geotab change all that stuff or not? The Impossible... Okay, where'd I go off? I'm lost here, right? That lady Copper was a real dame. Hey, you dames looking pretty good today. But I didn't try to flirt with her. I just remember what a dish she was, a showstopper. Yeah. Oh, them Dame Coppers, boy, they're really something. Saw a state trooper do a level 3. Well, the driver was backed into a dock. Nice. This has always aggravated me at truck stops. I will say this. I've seen this at truck stops, and I don't know why it's allowed. I've seen them doing inspections and stuff. That's private property, and if I was the truck stop, I'd say, look, you guys need to leave. I'd send a security guard out, not to shoot the cop, to tell them they have to leave or I'll tow their car away because it's on my private property. Get out. There shouldn't be cruising around the truck stop, you know, unless they're called for a crime or something like that. Same as backed into a dock. Unless he's loading at the, the state, otherwise he's on private property, that shouldn't be allowed. Now he can wait for on the street. That's one thing. Daniel, had one of our drivers while sleeping was hit by a runaway truck, not even safe sleeping. I know, you need to run a dash cam 24 hours a day so that it runs at night too in case somebody hits you. But yeah, there's no safe place anymore. The DOT in Georgia is cracking down on hotshots. They're talking about forcing them to become Class A. A lot of these hotshots are Class A. I just saw a commercial this weekend. What, the Dodge Cummins can pull 30,000 pounds or whatever pickup truck. That's a CDL truck with the trailer and a load. You're at 40-some thousand pounds. That's totally a CDL vehicle. I just go to my brother's in Marietta. That might be the safest thing to do. GP Transco parted ways with 2 customers in February because they were continuously unprofessional towards our drivers. That is probably the most awesome line I've ever heard a customer say, a trucking company say, we don't want this customer's business because you're not treating our drivers well. I hope you put a message out to all the drivers, on whatever electronic system. Believe me, that message, I would love to read that if I'm a driver and see that on there. And I've been to a garbage place. Oh my gosh, that's super awesome. That gets a belt for that, certainly. Because that's pretty awesome to say, you don't treat our drivers well, we don't want your business. Loveson, pilot of armed guards in Memphis, understood there. It was in Oklahoma. If a guard rolls up in his golf cart with a gun rack in the back, it's best you move. I did hear he was on a golf cart. But then another one said he was in a pickup truck. So, it's weird to get those kind of stories. Never be unprofessional to drivers. The other way, though, is drivers shouldn't be unprofessional to shippers or receivers. So it's a two-way street. How can one state force a different type of license? That's not even possible. Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is that at 40,000 pounds gross, this is a CDL vehicle. So you should be required to get a CDL just because of the weight of the vehicle. I don't know where Georgia gets off with that. You're talking about Jackson, Georgia. Okay, the TA. They still have idle air beams, but it's been abandoned. Oh, that's disappointing. I was a big user of that place. I would always go up in that top front row there and take the spot right by the stairs. North of Atlanta in Cartersville. Right, I think at Cartersville I do remember that name, yeah. That is a TA south of Atlanta. No, the one on the north side, Noonan, Georgia. Yeah, a state control roads running through it so they can mandate a certain license to use them. That's interesting. But a 40,000 pound vehicle hauling interstate freight is a CDL licensed vehicle. Fleet Nav Systems is going to head out a little early. Have a great day and drive safe. All right, let me get the thing here. I appreciate you being here today. It's always good to see you. They are the Geotab experts. They have a great YouTube channel too, and you can always write to them through their channel or whatever. So thanks for being here, Fleet Nav Systems. I appreciate your time. Idle air burned out quickly. Talk about crash and burn. They were on, idle air was on for a long time. I paid the extra for the idle air black card or whatever, and I had it for the longest time. I always take I-75 at 2 a.m. through town, presumably, right? Because you got to go through town. Otherwise, you can't. You're stuck, right? And I'm clicking on things and can't get things to click. Okay, so I don't know where I'm clicking. All right, I'm off my spot here. I'm absolutely positive that shooting the driver is not part of the job description. I agree. Shooting the driver is not part of it. He should just back off and go call the police or whatever he needs to do. Glad my company has a yard in Atlanta. Yeah. If you eat 2 pieces of Flying J pizza, you'll definitely be going. They get you coming back in the restaurant that way. I used to deliver to Dollar General, some really bad neighborhoods. But would you sleep in a Dollar General parking lot? I would not. At the port in New Jersey, someone I think tried to rob me. Luckily, I was armed, and they saw it, and they backed off. Well, that's good. Holy moly. So you were armed, too. Everybody's running around armed out there. Got it. You almost have to, right? I play World of Warships online a lot, Willie Cooper. Star Trek Online only. For me, it takes a lot of time to play that game, so I'm a one-game kind of person. I had a friend that worked at Idle Air Customer Support. She used to give me free internet. That'd be really great. You should have passed that on to me because I loved Idle Air. I challenge you with my USS Georgia to a duel. Only if it's on Star Trek Online, you're in. Otherwise, that's it. And remember, for people wanting to know, Star Trek Online is free. You never have to pay anything. You get all the best ships and everything in the whole game. It's not like all these there's no commercials to watch because the game is so old. So there's no commercials. It's 10 years old. So I think I made a mistake. I scheduled orientation for Monday. Oh, well, GP Transco, I think, plays the show live during their orientation, so I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine in that. To what is the most beautiful area to drive through? The West, right? Through the West, probably 70 from Denver to Utah to 15. Probably one of the greatest areas. Plus, of course, the highway. What do they call it? The Alien Highway, right? 395 in Nevada. Yes, the Jack in the Box tacos are still amazing. Oh, I won't be getting one of those, but that's okay. People on West Coast, they're not getting my White Castle, so we're even. We're even. I got a ticket in my apartment. The DOT come up there and give you a ticket. Any ELD can be set to company preferences. That's why you hear some folks don't have a yard mover PC. Yeah, I'm wondering about this line 5, right, which I've never seen on there for us. But yeah, I guess the company can limit it to what they want. For parking in a handicap spot, super great. The new Ram 3500 payload is 35,000. That's what I'm saying. I mean, well, that would be towing capacity, right? Not payload. Where am I doing? I keep clicking things. I can't get to my clickers. All right. And I'm off my spot. So, but payload of 35,000, that's a TA vehicle. Or that's a TA. That's a CDL vehicle. No question about it. So I'm off here. Why don't you have to have a CDL to drive it? You should have to. What is Amazon? Amazon is a place that delivers refrigerated goods around the country. I was getting zip to zip, mile short, average 10%. That's correct, right? You guys got to head out. Another load going to Jacksonville, Florida. Heading even better weather. Take care, everyone. Jack in the Box headquarters is in San Diego. One of your schoolmates would go downtown Melrose Park, Illinois. But they don't have them out here anymore. They got rid of those a while ago, and that's super disappointing. Oh, I fixed it. Okay, they're getting that fixed. That's good. Trucker Hershey, how do I contact you? My email is on the screen. Loves in Dayton, Ohio has armed guards, but are they shooting people? What do the armed guards do? Were they wearing the arms out or not? You refuse to be a victim? Yeah, I agree, right. Had to sit in Laredo twice this week waiting for load, stuck at the border, still got 3,000 miles. That's really good. But sometimes people sit, then you don't get paid anything. Some companies don't pay anything for sitting, who will remain nameless, like large mega carriers, a lot of them. Some do, some don't. But some don't. And so if you sit, it's good to have a guarantee, right? Don't you, Michael Cole? I'm sure you agree that a guarantee works pretty good. I'll try Star Trek Online if you would try World of Warships. I probably would need to buy a new computer to try it, and the time factor of learning a whole new game, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. Star Trek Online is for people that love Star Trek. If you're not a big fan of the show or whatever, I'll tell you, the game's not going to be for you. It just isn't. You really got to love Star Trek, and you will love the game. If you're not into Star Trek, it's just another, space kind of game. But this computer that I'm on here will not run new games like that. It only has 4 gigs of RAM, okay, and a Celadon processor. It's not going to, I would have to go invest in a whole nother computer and everything. I-10 crossing over from Louisiana to Mississippi. I don't think that's as scenic as out west. Columbia Gorge on 84 in Oregon is awesome. I'll give you that. I just like the 70 across there, climbing the top and everything. Trim the beard. Oh, yeah, that's coming this week. Believe it. White Castle's now in Vegas. I saw they were going west. It's disappointing. Using the Ram 3500 for commercial use voids the warranty. That hotshot driver that was crying about his Ram didn't read the agreement. Oh, nice. Some guy got busted for that in his Nissan. He needs an engine at, I don't know, like $55,000. So they have a 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty. This is a Sentra or something. Anyhow, he goes into the Nissan dealer and they go, sorry, no warranty for you. Why? There's a lift sticker on the car. Same thing. They go, commercial use of your vehicle voids the warranty. They go, read your warranty. So he fought with them, but Nissan's like, nope, no warranty. And so he needed an engine for his Nissan. I love it. George H.W. Bush, U.S. Xpress is taking away the 50-mile PC as of March 1st. Too many drivers abusing it, impacting their scores. So what are they redoing? Are they reducing it to nothing or not allowing it or whatever? And I have their stock here today, too, under my stock update. U.S. Xpress. So last week, $5.94. This week, $5.51. So that's pretty awesome. Down again. What is your opinion about a company that tries to make you sign that you can lift 100 pounds and 48,000 pounds worth of a trailer in their hire on contract? Well, some companies do this, I think, to keep people out of the company. Because a lot of companies have these signing things, or they actually make you prove it, and then they don't have you do the work. So I don't understand the point of it. I guess it's their company, and so they can do that. I find it disappointing that a company that says no touch freight then says you have to be able to lift 100 pounds. Who can regularly lift 100 pounds? It's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. Most places tell you, over 50 pounds or whatever to get help or get a cart. I got to do my research, but I believe it's 35,000 meaning load and trailer. 35,000 gross? No, I don't think so. Oh, yeah. Okay, load and trailer. Yeah, right. That's a gross pulling weight of the truck. The trailer is included in how much weight it's pulling. Yes. You were a trainer at U.S. Xpress. How did that go? 10 years ago, but how did you like it? In Atlanta Petro, it's on their hip like the police. So they're wearing badges and badges? We don't need no stinking badges. I wish we had Jack in the Box in Michigan. Instead, they give us Hardee's. Last 2 times I ate there, I just put it this way. You had intestinal issues. Okay. I guess out west you can get Carl's Jr. Well, Bill's on vacation for 9 days. Wow, how does that work? And I might get a haircut this week. Really? You're going to get snowed in, though, so I don't think you're going to be getting a haircut. Wow. Do you have to pay extra for long hair at the sports clips that you go to? Todd Heifel, what's up? What's happening? Jeff says the guards in Dayton, the weapons are visible. So these truck stops are hiring armed guards to guard the parking lot. What do they think is going to happen? When you hire an armed guard, you're assuming that at some point they may need to use that armament. That's why you're hiring them. You say this place is so dangerous or needs, so much security. I'm going to hire an armed guard to come in and guard it. Well, then people sometimes get shot. Werner allows a 150-mile PC round trip. If I get to a DG, Dollar General, I assume I could PC from there to a truck stop to sleep, then PC back, which doesn't start your 14. Oh, interesting. I only love William Shatner. We only have eyes for him. I'm thinking about how that worked. I wish, going back, the problem is going back. Truck stop and sleep and then PC. Okay, you're going to a truck stop to sleep. I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about it. There's too many things to think about. If truck stop does not have truck parking with guards carrying AR-15s, I won't stop there. I like to know that I'm well protected, no doubt. And they should issue you one. When you pay for that parking spot, they issue you an AR-15, which you then turn in the morning when you turn your ticket back in. RAM was good. Seller and processor not good for gaming. I know, but most places want you to have more than 4 gigs of RAM. That's generally not enough to run games on it. A lot of them are saying 8, even 12 I've seen. I have Star Trek Starship Builder. The warships I built were OP for real. That'd be really great, too. I've had all these games all through the years, all the way back to Klingon Academy and stuff, when, you had to insert the next disc, to keep the insert disc 2. My favorite Trek games were the Armada ones. Oh, right. That's really good, too. I like those. Same thing, the Columbia Gorge in Oregon is where I live. Yes, it's beautiful there. I agree with you. Like Ubers are not commercial. You happen to have a Lyft sticker. Uber and Lyft are not are commercial in that when you buy a car, like a Nissan or any car, you agree right in there that the warranty is for personal use only. Any business use of it where you're getting paid to drive it is not allowed. And so when they had that sticker, they're like, no, we're not going to fix your car because you don't have any warranty. You have to pay. U.S. Xpress loves to hose its drivers, and that's why they can't keep people. That's basically true. That's what people that leave there say. And then they are one of the places that can't keep people, where we have, full orientations at some companies and other companies are waiting. Like we have to wait for months to hear back from Martin Brower. That's exactly correct. George W. Bush, PC goes away completely. May add yard move, but doubt it. Yeah, probably not, because people will abuse that too. And the reason they're abusing it there is because of the low pay. So if everybody got paid by the hour, nobody would be abusing any of this. Everybody would be logging everything. Then it would probably be the other way. People would log extra stuff, but that's easy to find out from the company. You can't say I'm on duty all the time, and they know where the truck is. They can see if you're in the dock or not. So all that's easy for them to audit, because that's always their excuse. Well, drivers will abuse it. Well, you know where the truck is. So it's easy. All you do is geofence every little place. No problem. Trucker Hershey has not seen the West yet, so I'm excited to get out that way in the summer and tell him to wait for another month to send you out there. Al Johns couldn't lift 100 pounds. That's team lift everywhere I've ever worked. I know. Everybody, it's usually 50 is what I see. Something around 50 pounds, either get a cart or get some help. Don't lift it. They always say don't lift it. That's too much to lift because they know you're going to blow out your all your back issue parts. Back parts, that's the medical term for your back. No PC, drive your own freight. So, okay. Bar None has a physical test. Does Bar None require you to lift 100 pounds? I've seen a lot of these mega carriers, but a lot of places also, they make you lift 50 pounds usually and cart it across the room, literally in a little thing, bring it back and then pick it up, put it on a shelf, put it back down so many times. And during that, they have a thing on you to measure your heart rate, stuff like that. That's what a lot of places do. And then what do? You never touch a piece of freight again. I did train the drivers, correct. Yeah, okay. But what did you think about the whole training? Did you like doing it there? Michael Cole used to play Starfleet Battles, the board game. Wow. Recently found our creator is my third cousin. That's super cool. Should have him sign a copy of it. Jack in the Box killed a bunch of kids on a class trip with salmonella poisoning back in the 70s. Well, that stuff's going to happen. He used to work there. I didn't read about that. I wonder if it was over in this area. That's why they don't have them. I used to work there. I got on an account there. They canceled my bonus. It told me I couldn't get a bonus, but we're giving bonuses to other people coming in the same account a day later. Then you boot out of there. A place like that isn't worth working for. When they tell you something, they should honor it. If they don't, off you go, because it's not going to get better. The Loves in Dayton is not in a good part of town. AR-15s to protect the roller winners. Now that's where they should have a guard posted in there. That's probably what's being stolen. Alexander, any word on the condition of the driver who rolled his tanker in Indianapolis? Yeah, he's going to live. So last week, a tanker driver on the ramp from 465 to I-70 rolled the tanker, and there was a huge fireball, and the road was closed all day. He was rescued, if people don't know this, by a woman who had just had a baby and just gotten released from the hospital. And she was driving home, and she went and rescued this guy. He has burns. He's going to live. Apparently, he's going to live. That ramp is like a reducing radius ramp. It goes up, and it turns a corner if you've never done it. And trucks roll there a few times a year. They roll trucks and stuff. So I guess he's going to live, though. He's going to be okay. Well, I don't know if he'll be okay. He is not dead, and he is going to live through it. US 48 from Davis to the Virginia line is astounding, especially during autumn. All right, that's I'll try that. Have to try that. Does anybody else have any word on this security guard too? Do we have this? People have talked it. It's assume it's verified that the security guard from the driver shooting in Oklahoma City has killed himself. Why do company hire recruiters that tell you one thing and when they go to hire on it's totally different? K-Bear fuzzy ears. Well, the recruiters do that so that they can get paid, because when you show up, they get money, and then so they don't care if you stay necessarily. And why companies allow it is just beyond me, because the company has to know you're going to quit. So then they see all these drivers quitting. They should ask the drivers, why are you quitting? When a driver says your recruiter lied to me, they ought to take that seriously. But they don't, because they just need more bodies coming in. It's a whole circle thing, and a company that doesn't fix that doesn't really care. Taking the old FLD out of Hermiston, Oregon to pick up another vintage truck got my friend's drop deck. It's been a while. Wow. Holy mackerel. I can't remember. I believe it was 50 pounds. I think it's usually around 50 pounds when they tell you, hey, 2 people got to do that. 100 pounds of team lift. One of my tarps is 125 pounds. That's super heavy. How do you get it on the trailer? I'll tell you, I don't think I could lift that from the ground to a trailer. Can the truckers at Truckline start putting pressure on industrial land developers to include overnight truck parking? Well, the industrial land developers don't want any issues of liability. I think that's the problem. And plus, where do they make the money? So let's say there's an industrial park or whatever. How do they make money with you parking there? They develop a spot and there's no money. This kind of thing is almost a government thing as much as we hate them. There's all this extra land. I-69 is a perfect example. Right now, from Bloomington to Evansville, the new section of I-69, they built no rest areas. There's nothing. There's all this open land we see there, and they didn't build anything. And they don't even salt the road and part of it. It's a low salt area to protect the plants. So in the winter, the road's a disaster going down there. There's no parking. There's one little truck stop. At US 231, that parks maybe 8 trucks. And that's it. That's all there is. Somebody ought to build a truck stop right there. I think it would make a ton of money. But until that happens, there's just no parking. Why is there not parking for 1,000 trucks there? If nothing else, when they built that I-69, there should be another lane that you could park in, where it just runs right along, kind of like a frontage road that runs all along the road, and that's a parking road for drivers. Some of the Texas trailers, some of the tarps are 100 pounds. That would be really something. That makes you lift 50 pounds. But do you have state Florida Roadrunner? Okay. After you lift that in the physical and you pass, how much work do you do if you're there? How much work do you do at night after that? I mean, are you unloading trailers all day at night or anything like that? A company's high use of PC is most likely the low mental ability of dispatchers. That's the dispatcher. Hey, you can just run that on PC. Don't worry about it. And plus, it's the low pay of the company. So you're like, oh, I can make up some extra time and get this extra thing on my check rather than being paid properly. Maybe the roller wiener will start packing heat. Man, is that a wiener in your holster, or are you happy to see me? I was in warehousing. The change we used for rigging was $200 for one man. I'm going to tell you right now, look, I don't know if I could lift a 200-pound chain. Not far. Do you think you'll ever get down here to Arkansas? Congrats on my... To Arkansas, congrats on my... Will I ever get to Arkansas? Maybe. I mean, if I ever go to the Dallas Truck Show, I would have to drive through Arkansas. I think these mega truck stop chains should have a reserve your roller wiener feature. I'm tired of getting there and the roller girl being, oh, you know what? That's a great idea. So you can go in, maybe see the roller wieners and reserve one, just like a parking space. Like, oh, they would each be numbered. Oh, roller wiener 12, that's my roller wiener. And come in and say, I'd like to have my wiener now, please. And so then they go in and they get you that wiener. Oh, absolutely. Maybe like Little Caesars, they put the roller wiener in its own space that only you can unlock with an app on your phone. Mob saw that accident. It was bad, but glad's okay. You're glad the driver's okay. This is the accident in Indianapolis where they rolled a tanker of aviation fuel. That's what it said on the news at WRTV. That was really something. The road was closed all day. And then they had to come and inspect the road because it basically melted half the road off. But I guess he is going to live. 10 pounds only. That'd be all that'd be where I am. George Costanza says, Werner short distance PC move is allowed from a customer, shipper, or receiver and includes travel to and return from. It has to be started and ended at the same authorized location. Well, at least they do some of it. Western got the tax breaks. Do you remember the old board game D&D, Dungeons & Dragons? Sure, absolutely. Right, we would play that because, no girls were going to talk to all of us dorky, weird science geeks. So, that when we weren't in chess club, that's where we were doing. News Now reported that the security guard went to a gun range, rented a gun, and killed himself because he's going to be charged with assault with a deadly weapon. That's terrible. I'll say that is not a good solution. It's too late for him now, but that's never the solution to anything, okay? He might have been going to be charged. They hadn't charged anybody yet, but certainly this is not as good an outcome. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's terrible. Now his family has to deal with that. That's terrible. Ironically, why didn't he have his own gun? Maybe, is it the security company's gun, maybe? So I get to the DG, Dollar General, but they don't notice until 4 a.m. the next morning, though that's great. 4 in the morning, I request PC and go to the truck stop and take my 10, get a shower, then PC back. It's line 1. Well, at least I would rather sit at the truck stop than sit at a Dollar General and be unloaded at 4 in the morning. My tarps are 100 pounds wet. That's super heavy. Look, when I had flatbed, now I was much younger then. Being in my extreme upper 30s, I was in my extreme lower 20s then. But I remember getting loaded, and I would ask the guy loading me generally to put the tarps up on top of the load, and they would do it. Do people not do that anymore? They would go usually get a pallet. I would throw the tarps on the pallet and jump on the pallet myself, and then we all got hiked up to the top of the load, and I would get off and take my tarps off, and I could tarp it from the top like that. Do we not do that anymore? I don't know. That just came to me like, oh, this guy that just loaded me with all this freight, he can put me up at the top of this load. So that just seemed like the way to do it. My tarp weight's the same. It's easy when you're not a fatty. Hey, no problem. I'm not here saying I'm Schwarzenegger lifting 100-pound tarps. I don't do literally any work at work. So I hear you. If you can do it, more power to you. That's exactly where I left my current company. All right. The guard in Oklahoma City shot himself, was supposed to be charged with assault with a deadly weapon. That's really something. I-68 is horrible. Agree. That's for companies that are too cheap to pay the toll road. Get ready for the hills and valleys of the Virginias. Pennsylvania, right, West Virginia. I applied at Roadway in 91, and the team had me restack a skid of printer paper as an agility test. I didn't get hired. Oh, really? One of the first places I applied to was Roadway, but I didn't get to orientation because I didn't like the idea of being on call for a couple of years. So I don't know if they did that then or not. This would have been in probably 89. Did you know it was 4 a.m. before you got there the day before? Extra mustard. That road was still closed yesterday when I drove through there. Oh, really? Industrial developers could make plenty of money by adding roller wiener vending machines to compensate for the additional truck parking. Oh, yeah, that vending machine that an astute viewer sent me where it looked like a jackpot. You pulled the lever. It literally is a jackpot. You pull the lever and a roller wiener comes out of it. You can now reserve your roller wiener on the Pilot app. Oh, I want this one because maybe they should each have a little time that's ticking on them so you know how long it's been rolling around there. You don't want one today that says Saturday 1 p.m. When it was put on there. I hate to pay the insurance bill on that accident. Oh, yeah. The state's going to be like, can you rebuild our ramp for us? Kevin, Chess Club. Yeah, I was in the Chess Club. This show is better than Road Dog on Sirius Satellite. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, at least this show's got drivers on it, unlike that show. Unlike some of those, I listen to it every day going to work. It's ridiculous. I just got fuel for $2.36 a gallon. That's pretty good. I filled up the wife's car for $2.74 yesterday, and that was not bad for that. They probably took his gun after he shot the guy since it was used in a shooting. Yeah, that's true, too. They probably are keeping it, and maybe he didn't have one. There's no good reason to shoot yourself, okay, to kill yourself. There just isn't. So please call somebody, right? Where'd this thing go? I got to put this out here because it's important. This is super important for people, right? Use the number, call the number, text the number, write to the number, do whatever, but do not call them first. Please. Whatever it is can be figured out. Everything's figure outable. Chris, I'm 60 and I bet you're fatter than me. I probably am. Legally, you can't PC with a trailer or under load. I don't even like using tarp machine. I prefer lifting it. I treat it as an exercise. The thing is, it's your 13 feet up or whatever. I had this tall load. I remember this. And you just tell the guy, can you get a pallet? And everybody was accommodating to that. You could throw a few tarps on there and he would take you up there too. I don't know if they probably don't allow that now for some OSHA thing. But that's how we got up on top. And that's how I used to do it anyhow. And he would just let you get off up at the top of your load. You had to figure out how to get down, but you at least were up there to get the thing tarped. And you wouldn't do it with weird shaped stuff, but something that's flat or whatever, absolutely. A wood load or something. The company we're looking at, we're not doing tarping. It was supposed to be drop and hook dedicated. Okay, so there's no point in the test if they're not going to actually have you do it. I think it's just to keep people, it keeps a lot of women out because the 100 pounds is a lot. And I think it just keeps a lot of people out for no reason. If you don't need to lift, there's no point in testing you if you can lift. What is the law for PC if I know before going to the shipper that I won't have time left for loading to get to your parking spot, even out of the shipper? No, they didn't say that you had to know in advance. The FMCSA said that if you're at a shipper or receiver getting loaded or unloaded and it takes you past your time, you could PC to the nearest safe, legal parking. It didn't say, they don't go into whether you knew it or not. The nearest safe, legal, but the nearest, you can't go way out of your way. Nearest safe and legal. So like side of the road, if it's not legal, no, they don't allow that. Otherwise you can PC it, and plus your company has to allow it. So it has to be a company allowed thing too. Alexander, look at me lift this tarp. This load is terminated. I know. I mean, I'm not lifting a big tarp up, especially a 100-pound tarp. That is not happening to me. But have you played the Star Trek card game? Oh, no. I haven't not played that. No. That'd be good. That'd be good, too. And off my little spot here. Took his gun. Where am I? Okay, there we go. How do you drop and hook and flatbed? Do you trust the previous person? Well, I will say where I worked at Regal, there was only a little drop and hook, and I agree with you. So you go and they go, okay, this load has already been brought down by the local driver. They had a few local guys that would go back and forth to Chicago. So your load is in the yard here in Hammond. So I would go over there, drop the empty trailer and pick my load up, and it's already tarped and everything. You had to give the tarps back that you had 3 tarps. The load has 3 tarps, but no, you would have to check the whole load to make sure, because you just don't know how the person strapped it and chained the load down. You look at the load and everything. So I agree with you. It's nerve-wracking, but you would always look at the load, make sure everything was tight before you took off. It's George Costanza's 4 a.m. mandatory because either difficult backing, too small to back safely during open hours, or it's a front door unload. 4 a.m. unloads are actually good, no one in the way. Yeah, I can't imagine getting in some of these Dollar Generals when they're open. You'd never get in. A lot of it has to be done at night. I used to take pride in tarping. Yeah, look, I think flatbed loads are a good mental workout because you got to figure out a puzzle. It's like Jenga. Putting all the things on there, securing it all down so it sits there, the whole load. It's a good mental workout and a good physical workout. But lifting 200 pounds, no. Not a tarp. Certain places got tarp stations with ladders and platforms, especially Owens and Corning. Michael Muller. Yeah, I'm sure OSHA got involved in this. There wasn't any of this back in the hinterland days when, in the 80s here when I was doing flatbed. You just had to figure it out yourself. I would wish they had tarp stations with platforms and ladders so you could get up on your own load. Mob, I just had a level 1, literally had a level 1 in New Jersey, and had 1 hour, 2 minutes PC the day before. Officer asked. I told him I ran out of hours and used to find a safe haven, which was true. I was in New York City. What did he say? Walking 47 times around the truck equals 1 mile. Wow. I've been a nerd for 45 years, which is funny because, like you, I'm only in my extreme upper 30s. Yeah, I know, it's weird. I mean, since I was 5, really, probably 4 or 5 years old, started all that stuff. And being in your extreme upper 30s, it's weird. But once you understand physics, once you become a nerd and get physics and science, you can be in your extreme upper 30s and be a nerd for 45 years. So, yeah, it's all in the physics. Stopping at a truck stop before getting to the customer would start my 14 hours before I get to the store, and so you're saving your 14. George Costanza. I think part of that, though, is because you're not being paid by the hour, I think. This is the real trucking business and beyond, Chris. Well, that's really good. Kevin Rutherford is a driver. We got to give him that. He's a driver for many years, owned a trucking company. Very knowledgeable guy. I will say, I love the calls, though, on that show. I've listened to that show many times. Hey, I've got this Freightliner Classic XL. It's getting 5 miles a gallon. Should I pour $10,000 into changing the rears and everything on it? No, why don't you just buy a truck that gets 8 miles a gallon to start with? Should I go 1,352 RPMs or 1,336 RPMs? Just buy a Cascadia. I mean, if you're trying to make money in business, that's all I'm saying. Because I'm like, why don't you just buy one to start with that gets better mileage? So I don't know, because it's not a truck show, right? You're trying to run a business. I hate the tarp machines. I can never get it tight for some reason. What is a tarp machine? They have a machine that tarps your load. I had to tarp this load I'm bringing to Oregon. Boy, was it tough since I don't do that anymore. I cannot imagine getting out and tarping a load. I probably have to take 12 breaks. So, to clarify, it was a dry van company. All right. Freightliner's official Facebook page just shared the story of Drivers Part 2. Wow. On their Facebook page. That's super awesome. That's where that message is getting out there. Tarping in the wind is your issue. If it gusts, I become a Superman flying across the road. I know. I was worried about that too. You're like, wow, this is getting a little bit nerve-wracking. Plus, the pole to strap the load, one of those flew across a oil factory one time. I'm strapping a strap down, and somehow I let go of it, and it went vling like this and flew away. I'm like, 4. I yelled 4 out. I thought it was funny at the time. They didn't find it that humorous. Some guy walked it back over to me. Super hilarious. In most cases, tarping is just more unpaid work. From what I've seen, a lot of companies pay that now. They'll give you $25 or something tarping. Walmart runs flatbeds too for 90% of the garden center. They have their own flatbeds. I have not seen any of those. I charge $100 for any tarp job. Wow, that's expensive. Don't believe the hype about 4 a.m. unloads. Try doing an Aldi's at 4 a.m. 20 drivers trying to get into the door at the same time in a dimly lit dock area. This must be at like a warehouse or something, because you're not getting 20 drivers at this Aldi. Mom, no violations. He said that's the purpose of it. Good. So he knew it. He knew you were right. You knew we're right. The law works. You fought the law and you won, but there was no fighting or shooting. How come trucking companies pay a little more than McDonald's? Well, Ant-Man, it depends on which trucking company you're talking about. Some pay a lot more than others, and it depends what you're doing in trucking. Local and LTL jobs tend to pay more an hour because you have less hours in the truck. I remember tarping cotton in the Texas Panhandle, no fall protection and always windy. Yeah, but cotton's so soft. You fall into it. I mean, it's the fabric of our lives. Has anyone heard of geofencing instead of actual fencing making yard moves legal? No, I haven't heard of that. There's no reason companies can't set up geofences in there, though. But I don't think that a geofence would work as a yard move to make it legal, though. That's interesting. That'd be an interesting argument to make if you got a ticket that, hey, it is fenced. Because it says fence. I wonder if fence is, you'd have to see a fence, which I didn't look up, if the word fence is defined, to mean an actual physical fence. So that'd be an interesting thing to look up. Is the word fence defined? Or is it just the word fence? So then you'd have to look up, what is a geofence? How do they define it? Is it a fenced area? What do they say? So that'd be interesting. You'd still have to fight it, but would you win? I don't know. That'd be a great fight. McDonald's pays more than most trucking companies. I don't know about that. Some people that write to me 7 days, $300. Yeah, they are better off at McDonald's. I like the middle of the night deliveries to Home Depot. Nobody there, and a big parking lot to untarp and maneuver. That's great. Never heard of a machine beside me that tarps. What I'm thinking of is a gigantic stretch trap machine that you park the truck on, and the truck goes around and around, and a huge tarp comes out of this machine and wraps the load up. That's what I'm thinking of. Am I close? How do you feel about the new tax law in which a company driver can't write off expenses associated with the job? None of that has really changed. And you can write off unreimbursed expenses of your job. You are allowed to do that. But you can't write off the per diem, and this has been a couple of years now. Any unreimbursed expense for your job, you could write off. Like, say I buy a pair of gloves at work, which I do, and they don't pay me for them, which they don't. Okay? So I can take that $5 or whatever and write it off. But to write anything off, and I'm not a CPA or anything, but to write things off, they have to exceed your standard deduction, which is what, $12,000 or whatever. So yeah, you can write it off, but it doesn't exceed your standard deduction. So that's why you're not getting it. It isn't illegal to write off an unreimbursed business expense or an unreimbursed work expense. The company requires you to do it, or it's for work. Okay. Like I can buy a box of pens and say I fill paperwork out at work with them. Fine. Right. Gloves are a great example. Boots, maybe clothes that I only wear at work, stuff like that. I have an orange hat that I wear in the wintertime. It's a Carhartt hat, but it's orange. So I would be able to write that off. I'd say, well, it's safety orange, so I only wear it at work. Okay, $13 or whatever. It was $20. But it doesn't exceed my standard deduction. That's why I don't get to write it off. You could write it off and say, I'd rather take this $300 off rather than the standard deduction. You can always do that, but you're allowed to, you just won't, because the standard deduction has been doubled. And the thing that they eliminated, which is several years now, is per diem for company drivers. No per diem off your taxes for company drivers. Companies can still pay it to you. A rookie officer probably would have given me a ticket for not knowing, and that's the shady part of it. That's the problem. You got to know more than the cops do about the log, right? The log is the law. Know what you're talking about. Plus, when you go in knowing what you're talking about, they're like, well, this guy knows what he's talking about, so we're going to let him go. Tarping in the wind gets frustrating in Wyoming, or so the tarp blew off the third time. I bet that'd be very bad, right? A gust hits yours and you tried to hang on. Always let everything go. Right. You saw a Walmart flatbed at a Walmart DC. I've never seen any of those anywhere. George Wilson, you look about 45. Oh, thank you. I will drop the subject. I'll just say my birthday is 8/14/65. That's all you have to say on that. Okay, well, that's pretty awesome. And I'll take 45 any day. I appreciate it. I do local, and it's still socks, which is presumably horrible, you're at the wrong local company. I mean, there are tons of, mainly Old Dominion was the highest rating. I had an Old Dominion driver write to me $136,000 a year, and I'm like, you got to send me 4 checks in a row, which he did. Okay, he did. So you can get a local job that pays all your time. There's tons of them, I find out here, that, where you're going to make better money than McDonald's. If you're making I think the one here pays $11.50. If you're making $11.50 driving a truck, then yeah, McDonald's would be the way to go. But there's tons of companies paying easily what? There's one I just saw this weekend in Indianapolis, $27.50, 45 to 50 hours a week, overtime past 40. You're looking at $1,300 or $1,400 a week for 8 to 10 hours a day. Home every day, off weekends, not bad. Finally, at last stop, and can comment about scenic roads. I think 40 from State Line to Asheville is absolutely beautiful. D-Boy 611. Yeah, okay, that's good too, right. I just find the West better, maybe because I'm not out there as much. I did more on this side, but that's good too, I agree. McDonald's doesn't have truck that Martin Brower's. McDonald's doesn't have truck that Martin Brower, who has contract. McDonald's uses Martin Brower for most of their deliveries that I've seen. Prime has a new drive-through TARP station in Springfield. Really? So what do you pull up, pay somebody? What? Oh, do you go? Okay, at Prime, I got to believe it's like this. You pull up to a speaker and they go, hello, can I tarp your load for you? And so then you go, what? And they go, tarp. And you go, I'd like a tarp, please. And they go, pull to the window. And so you go up to the window and hand them $20. And then they go, okay, pull up over there. And then somebody comes out and tarps your load. Is that how that works? That's pretty awesome. Tarping in the wind sounds easy. Attach to one side of flatbed, then lift tarp into air, and wind will take tarp to the other side. It can help you. Your accountant does that for you, right? But you don't. The thing is, most people don't have $12,000 of unreimbursed work expenses if they're a company driver. Try heading around Lake Lure, North Carolina. Okay, Idle Air still in Dallas and El Paso. Do you use it? Please tell me you're a user. That was my nickname when I did flatbed, the tarping machine. Cash is king, the tarping machine. All right. Companies would lay down yards, use geofencing as legal boundary, so yard move is legal there to drop and hook and such. Oh, Misty, that's interesting. So there's no definition of fence then in the definition of fence. So companies are like, all right, this is a fence like any other fence. Where I live, McDonald's employees are being paid a minimum of $13 an hour. Okay, so 13 there. It's very likely that drivers make more than that. If you are making less than $13 an hour as a CDL driver, you absolutely should look around, because I don't care how much you like that job, because there comes a point where, because money is not the issue for me always, but if at some point the job pays so little that their greatness can't overcome that. I mean, they would have to shower you with pizza every day and free shirts and just everything all the time to pay $12 an hour and get anybody to stay there. That's not enough money. That is way low. You could drive for Uber and make way more money than that. Amazon Prime van drivers are making more. Okay, that's one way to do it, I guess. Kevin's never seen a Walmart flatbed either. Yeah, I've never seen one. Drive M28 to US 41 in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to UP. Again, if you file your quarterly, your deduction is $24,000. What is a good hourly rate for a local driver that's new to the industry? 20 plus. Drivers shouldn't be less than that on an hourly, certainly. I think people need to understand that trucking isn't for everyone. That's true. It is not for everybody. But everybody could do it. How about that? What do you think of hotshot truckers? I think they should get loads that fit on their trucks legally. I mean, you see like a 3/4 ton Dodge, and what's up there, like 3 Sprinters, and then in the bottom is, an SUV or something. I'm like, no way, is that thing legal? K-Bear Fuzzy Ears. Company said it was a DOT requirement to be able to lift 100 pounds. It is absolutely not a DOT requirement to lift 100 pounds. If anything, the government and OSHA would say you shouldn't lift 100 pounds. It is that's a total lie. Liars. Geofencing should be properly lined. People parking stupid deserve to be shot. That's certainly not true. Al Johns, you're out. Trucker Hershey, you all have a good one. You're going to go to sleep. Thank you for being here today. If that was the case, you wouldn't be able to pass the DOT medical. I know. I mean, there's no way. There's no lifting requirement at all for the DOT physical. None at all. Money's the issue for you, not for me. I'm not 100%. I mean, so you would leave for a penny a mile? I don't think so. When it's a small amount, it's not worth leaving because of the hassles. You lose too much money. You're better off staying somewhere because eventually you do better there than you would if you keep moving around. At nearly 18 years at my company, I do better here because I know all the ins and outs of the places and all that kind of stuff. Where somebody that just started, they got to figure everything out on all that. I think it's worth staying at a place. Once you can find a place that you like, it's worth staying there. But at $13 an hour, then yeah, you can go make $10 an hour or more somewhere else. Then you're looking at, $25,000 to $35,000 raise. California McDonald's pays $15, but after taxes and living expenses, oh yeah, well, living in California, $15 is nothing out there. Come and live here, right, where it's cheaper. Musafar, my friend who works for Swift makes less than minimum wage in California. Trust me, they get away with labor fraud. Well, I mean, your friend who works for Swift, as you say, could leave Swift if he's not making minimum wage. You should make minimum wage, certainly. You could make more money at Uber, but that wouldn't get your year in, so you can get a great job at GP Transco. Yeah, I don't think GP Transco counts Uber as commercial driving. What if you cross state lines with it? Well, you couldn't pick anybody up in the other state, though. I was at Heartland Express. They told us that. That's total, the real problem with them, I don't mind them having you lift 100 pounds, I guess, if they want to have it as a company policy, but they shouldn't lie about it. So a company that lies about it, that's the problem. Oh, it's a DOT requirement. No, it isn't. Don't lie about it. Say this is our requirement. It's stupid, but we're going to make you do it anyway because some corporate schlub with a college degree thought of it. So you're going to have to do it. Then at least we're being honest with each other. But to lie about it, it's saying it's DOT. It totally is not the DOT. Michael Mueller suggested $25 and hour and time and a half after 40, which would give you $1,900 gross a week. That's pretty good. What did they think about that? Apparently not much. You have your own authority. All right, that's great. How's it going? Just chiming in. What are the new hours of service for 2020? All right, so this is what they said exactly. New hours of service for 2020. Now, they just talked about this last week. They said, the FMCSA said, hey, look, they're still under review. That's what they said. And they go, there is no timeline for us to change them. We're still reading all your comments. And what has been talked about is that because of the presidential election, they don't want to do anything either way because they'll get some group mad. If they do a different way, they'll get a different group mad. And so what they're talking, behind the scenes is it's possible they won't even make an announcement about it until after the election to see how that comes out. So that would be mid-November, probably before a count is all settled, before they even made an announcement. Then there's a 60-day comment period on that, which would put us into middle of the next winter, if they actually did that. That's crazy. So that would be another year with these rules. But as of right now, that's not for sure. But right now, what is for sure is they're still under review and they have no timeline to do anything. Coronavirus will be shutting trucking down next month. I can't believe any of us are still alive. Believe it. Only because I barely leave the house. Am I still living? Read an article about the new hours of service rules. They say the best rule is the one that makes drivers mad. What they said is there's going to be somebody, everybody's going to be a little mad. That's what they said. And when they come out with the rule, everybody will be a little mad about it. And they go, that's probably the best they can do. Live in Cheney, Washington. There's only deer and small communities and mom and pop shops. Okay. Well, I mean, you may have to move from East Armpit. Working full-time and liking the job also? I'm confused. You know you love it there. You've been there longer than I've been here. You're their top employee, right? I saw that wall there, employee of the month. It was all you. Every month was a picture of you on there. George Wilson, thanks for what you do. Catch you on the flip side next week. Got a cruise. All right, thank you for being here. I appreciate it, you coming in and spending your time here because you could spend it anywhere. I bet the person at the company to come up with that policy couldn't even lift the mouse. Oh, that's great. You should have said you lift it first and then I'll lift it. And they'd say, well, it's not a DOT requirement that I do it. How bad is the authority insurance each month? Oh, that's a good question for an owner-operator here. I'm not one. I'm a company driver, so I don't know about that. Any owner-operator, how much is insurance each month? I just let Smith know a week ago. Oh, all right. I'd like to know what they say about it. Do they have like a suggestion box or something like that? And do they actually use it? We had a suggestion box for a while, and I noted it was never emptied. I kept looking in there because I put one note in there and I looked, it was still in there. So I came home and filled a bunch of these sheets out, ripped them all up and filled the box up with it. And the thing disappeared. Because I put give us a raise, pay more money, do this. I had all kinds of stupid suggestions that I put in there, right? And then it disappeared. They must love me too. Society gets mad when you do nothing, then gets mad when you do something. That's correct. We want a solution. They get a solution. We don't like that solution. Mob has a 6-pack of coronavirus. Oh my gosh. Who would go on a cruise right now? Anyone? Uber considers Minnesota and Wisconsin one territory, so you could pick people up in either one. Okay, that's good. So, like maybe in some states they do that. So here, they've told us here, because like I say, I've been signed up for a long time. Indiana, you can pick up somebody anywhere in the state of Indiana. Trump walls the U.S. thing. We can use yard moves all day since the USA would be fenced in. Oh, you know what? That would be an interesting argument. Well, this is all a fenced area. We need to put a roof on it now to keep the coronavirus out. Lordstown GM is reopening the plant for electric vehicles. Yes, they're going to build electric vehicles for the 17 people in the United States that would like to purchase one. I was quoted $18,000 for the year. Mom, okay, there's an insurance quote. Yikes, I'm glad Geico's not that much for your car. I forgot to mention that's the surroundings around Cheney. In the town there is 4 grocery stores. Oh, nice. Well, that's something. Wonder how many safety coordinators have a ticket for speeding. That's always a good question. You know, I would ask somebody, especially everybody that's got a camera, if somebody talks to you, they show you something on the camera, say, hey, what kind of record do you have first? You know, do you have a license? That's how you stop them right away. That's what I would tell them. Oh, you don't have a license? I don't want to hear from you because you're legally prohibited from doing my job. So that's number one. And if they have more tickets than you, say, look, I'll sit down and show you how to drive safely. They stopped the Employee Month Award 17 years ago and never changed the pics on the wall. There were still plenty of them on there for you. That's really good. I'm going to bring Gracie up for a cat break, and I got a truck picture here. Oh, there's Gracie. She likes to get in on the action too sometimes. That's the one time a day I get to see her awake. So here's a truck. All right. This is a 1993. So it said, how about that? A white GMC. Remember when the white GMC was a truck company for a little while? There's a cab over. Flat roof cab over. White GMC. Wow, you don't see these around. This is a single axle, but you would see these on the road a little bit. You haven't seen them on the road for some time. 1993. White GMC. And I should put Jay up there too. I forgot about him last week and I feel bad about that. Don't forget to watch Jay tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time, live right there on YouTube on his own little channel, Auto Transport Intel. I shouldn't say it like that. On his own channel. And go get some business coaching if you want to get started in business. He takes care of all that. Very informative, super informative guy. Not in the chess club, I don't think. But that's Jay. I don't think he was a member of the chess club. We'd have to ask him. Somebody ask him if he was in chess club tomorrow on tomorrow's show. That's funny. I just saw somebody say can't break right. Coronavirus is just a bunch of overhyped propaganda, except for the dead people. At Smith, we have an email address for some, but someone ran a light last year and killed someone. I heard it's a $30 million lawsuit. Yeah, any company that gets a lot of trucks, or really a few, but the more trucks, the more likely you are to have these accidents. It happens. They got to be ready with insurance. Just get a lot of insurance. Alexander, I just learned drivers here are getting road cameras in their trucks by next year. Are they going to face in and out or just out? Because that's how it starts with the out facing. They had to stop the Employee of the Month program because they ran out of room on the wall to hang pictures of the driver of the month. Oh, that's super great. Here they rotate through people at work during the day when all the office people are in, the main people. So that's how they give driver of the month here. It's all the people that work days. So, because they see the same people, those people get driver of the month all the time. Typical of most places. Trucker Hershey, if I get a new teal truck, maybe I could bring it to the truck show. Yeah, I've asked Cheapy Transco. They're not coming to the truck show. And I didn't think about it until they explained it. And now I understand. In going there, it's expensive, right? The booth's $1,000 or something. Because I looked into getting a booth. I thought, I'll throw $100 at a booth. It's like $1,100. And then they got to send 2 people down there and all that. So see if you can get them to do that. But I don't know about that. I don't see how he did it in that short wheelbase. Definitely not riding like a horse. That's true, but the good thing about those cab overs, you could back them in anywhere. I used to drive the Kenworth cab over. All right, similar to this. You mentioned Jay at Auto Transport Intel. Yeah, Jay. I love Jay over there. Jay is the impetus behind starting a live show here. So he's why we're all here. My first new truck was an 84 GMC cab over. Wow. Alexander, okay, outward facing camera. I haven't learned about any audio. I didn't ask James. Probably, they usually come with a microphone on there. So, and I will tell you this about these outward facing cameras. When they do mount it, be careful about this. Number one, the microphone. See what they say about that. But number two is some of them are mounted a distance from the glass. True story. So the farther away from the glass they catch a reflection, I swear to you, and they CSI this reflection because people have shown me these. They'll send me a picture. Look at what they fired me for. They see you in the reflection of the glass doing something they don't like. And you get fired that way. So be careful. The farther from the glass it is, the worse off it is. I might consider on a camera for me that it was going to be glass like that to put some kind of blockade there so there's no reflection because, hey, they're only looking out the front, right? I'm not blocking their view to the front. And so they're not looking at me, so it shouldn't be any problem. Now, do I recommend that? No, you might get fired for it, but I might consider doing that on a front facing. And then you'll have to see how aggressive they are about enforcement on whether you stay. If they're stupid about enforcement, you're going to have to go in and say, look, calm down, everybody. Just calm down for a minute here. This isn't Coronavirus Central. These are just cameras. Has Matt's announced a Friday night concert? Yes, but I don't remember who it is. It's two people that I never heard of, honestly, but I don't listen to a lot of country music. They did announce the concert. And remember, you have until tomorrow at Matt's to sign up for Matt's. You have through the 25th to sign up for free tickets. So get your tickets now while you can if you're coming to the show. And I will see everybody on Friday. And I don't know what you look like, so please come up and say hello. I've been seeing an old red Volvo pulling GP van, maybe as an owner-operator. They do have owner-operators there, so yeah, very likely. $30 to park in the lot. How ironic that the lot is paid parking down there. But you get a shuttle to the show, too. I've lived through the people being afraid of swine flu, the new millennium worry, or whatever that is. Going back for this for 1 second. I kind of remember the swine flu. Let's see, where did that sheet go? Right there. Okay. The Mayan calendar. Oh, right. I remember the Mayan calendar. The housing market collapse. All right. I only got sick from the vaccines. Nothing to worry about. I'm really bothered by this. Yeah, I would be a little bothered by it, but I wouldn't be too worried until you see about the enforcement and that kind of stuff. I remember the Y2K bug. I do remember that. I thought that, it might be a problem. This could be a deal breaker for me. That's a real problem. Heartline Express has out-facing cameras, but they micromanage everything. They tell you when you can and can't fuel. That's annoying, but they also tell you exactly how much you're allowed to put on. I've seen companies that do that. Buy 40 gallons, buy 50 gallons. That's super aggravating. It's super aggravating. This is what Gracie thinks about that. Gracie doesn't like to be told when and where she can eat and how much to eat and all that stuff. She's just not a fan of it. I have masking tape besides my front camera to block the reflection. It's my camera, but it's just to be safe. See, you don't want to have to fire yourself. Dash cams are your friend. It'll be the best thing you've ever purchased. I agree, when it's your camera. If it's your camera, everybody should run their own camera. I totally agree with you. Landstar host your friends Selena and Jeremy. Yeah, okay. I heard about that. I didn't know that they had that policy, and apparently neither did they. Landstar has some kind of policy. I forget what they called it, to be honest with you, but they got let go from Landstar over this policy because somebody on their block called in about them. So, yeah, I agree. And I was thinking about that, and if they have a policy like this that's so strict about exactly where you can and park your own truck, that should be put out in orientation, and you should have to sign for it. That you totally understand this is their policy, and I agree to abide by it, that kind of thing, just so that they know that you know what the policy is. So I agree with you. I think that that's a raw deal. How much are GATS tickets? I don't know. GATS is the one in Dallas. Mid-America Truck Show, which is Matt's coming up, are free through tomorrow. So I drove an 87 Anteater. Nice. Diamond Reel with Dutch Air cooled twin turbo diesel. Wow. Do you have a picture of that thing? Working class. The cat is adorable. Oh, Gracie. Thanks you very much for that. Michael called. Wife called. What did you miss? Yikes. Put her on hold for a minute. You missed a cat picture. I will say that. I remember when JFK was shot. Wow, I remember reading about that. How will we recognize me at the truck show, Mark? Wow, Bill. I'll be wearing Trucking Answers merch, so which is available at Teespring. But yeah, I'm going to get I'll probably have one of my sweatshirts on there at the truck show, so that is how you will see me. Alexander, talk to James. Currently, cameras are under testing. Will be mounted right on the windshield, working out kinks. Okay, no audio. That's unusual to not have audio because they can hear what the truck is doing, but certainly possible. I would go on the assumption that the audio works. That's how I would do it. And if it's right on the windshield, you won't get a reflection. This is another one of those policy things where you're going to have to say, all right, so now we have a camera. How are they going to enforce camera policy? Is it very strict? Is it not strict? Who's doing the enforcing? That's what you're going to have to decide. And if they're being very strict about it, I'd quit before they fire you. If it comes up to that point, that's way in the future. But I wouldn't want to get fired for a safety violation. I'd have to quit before that. I'd talk to him about it and say, what is going on here? Texas Trader. Oh, the sitting duck policy. That's right. That is what they said. I was thinking something about ducks, right? It's a sitting duck policy, which I'd never heard of, but I don't work there. If that's a policy, it should be made very clear in orientation. Exactly what it is, and that you understand exactly about it, and that they'll fire you about it. No question about it. Rookie truck driver starting with Werner. Okay. What do you think? Since you're starting there, have they talked to you about it? I mean, other people say Werner is one of the better of the mega carriers. I would never work for a company that tells me where I can and can't do with me. Your personal property I bought to run loads for them. I know. I mean, I thought it was ridiculous. It's their truck. But Landstar goes, our signs are on the side of it. So I don't like it either way. And I don't like being told where to fuel either. Not so much where to fuel, but how much. Not only do you have to go to only this truck stop, you have to buy so many gallons of fuel only. Sometimes they have you fuel twice a day, a small amount. It's ridiculous. Okay, did everybody who asked for GP Transco hats and socks get them? And are you wearing them today? Oh, wear them to the truck show. I'd never be an owner-operator, but still. Mark will be in a Star Trek uniform. That would be pretty awesome. And I will say, as an aside, at some of the conventions, I see people that are not captains. Okay, promote yourself. Okay, go get a promotion. I'm pretty sure they signed a contract with Landstar that had the rule in there. I thought it was funny that they act like they didn't know it was a policy. Yeah, I don't know what the policy is. All I'm saying is a serious policy like that, it should be pointed out and to make sure people understand it. That's all. If they do that, then... and you get fired, then I don't know, because I haven't been through their orientation. If somebody here has been through a Landstar orientation, do they point this out? Here's a severe, I will say every job you go to, get your company book, your driver manual, wherever you work, read the whole thing, read every policy so you exactly know what's going on at that company, because something like this can get you fired. If they're not very upfront about a policy where you can be fired immediately like that, they should be. Alexander is a staunch libertarian. I have issues with the big government. All right. Look out. Libertarians are coming to leave you alone. So be careful. The libertarians will get in office and just let you basically do what you want. Like it's supposed to be, like freedom is. Their acceptance to rules of doubt investigated. GP Transco sent a bunch of merchandise to Smart Trucking. All right. Sweet. Dave can wear that. I wonder if he'll be at the show this year. I wonder if they have a passport. Did you see the South Africa banned driver facing cameras? Michael Cole, yes. A number of you astute viewers sent that article to me and said, hey, we don't have to have cameras anymore, but it's from South Africa. Canada, they're banned as well due to the Cisco lawsuit, but not here in the United States. We've got to ban them ourselves. What about John Christner Trucking? $1.05 a mile lease purchase is not going to get you a lot of money. If you didn't get your merch, submit a contact form, and they'll send it out to you. Okay, we still love the folks at Smart Trucking. How did you know? They may have talked about it. I don't know. Dot Foods is a great company to drive for. I agree. I've talked to them. Many drivers also from them, and people, I haven't found anybody that doesn't like working there. I like the schedule deal. You can be on 4, off 4, on 7, off 7. Work, different kinds of schedules that fit your life. I love it. With Werner, it's so far so good, just waiting for a trainer. It's a dedicated account. Yes. Is dedicated better? I think so. I think so because you get your check straightened out every week. You know what you're doing, and you know where you're going. So over the road, there's a lot of different factors that factor into your check. I find dedicated to people to be a little bit better on their checks. Can be asked us where we're parking the truck. That's all. I think most companies want you to park it, somewhere secure. Not I'm just going to leave it wherever. So yeah, that's all they should do about it. They're really, I saw the road in that. I just don't understand Landstar, but I guess if that's their policy, that is their policy. On the Mayan calendar, Stephen Hawking published that they calculated the year wrong. Correct year is 2020. Yikes. And he didn't make it to see it. That's disappointing. Hope you all saved roller wieners. Sierra England. We get with me, get a $3.50 cash advance. That's good for a couple of wieners. Fueling several times a day, of course, will be free. Yes, of course it is, right? Because they think they're saving some kind of IFTA money or something to have you stop and waste fuel, wait in line. It's always a pilot or something where you're waiting in line. It's ridiculous for them to do it that way. Just say, look, fuel at any pilot anywhere you want. That'd be a lot easier thing to do. Oh, Ronald Hurst, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thanks for that, and I appreciate it. Some companies don't even know their own policies. I tried lease purchase once, but soon quit, and they said I could just quit without notice, but the contract said 10-day notice. Well, be careful because later they may enforce that contract on you instead of what they said to you. So you don't want that. Here's a 1948 auto car. How about that? Holy moly, 1948. Look at the tread on those tires. I thought that was pretty incredible. The tread on the tires is incredible. That was trucking, not that long ago, really. This is all before interstate system and everything. That's what people had to drive around and get paid to drive. No air conditioning in that thing. And that people that always want to go back to the good old days, that's the good old days of trucking. The better days. You park your Pete at your local Peterbilt dealer. That's pretty interesting. That they have a deal where they'll let you park the Pete at the Pete dealer. Roadrunner stock last week, $7.20. They're the ones I keep my eye on. Today, before the show, $6.91. So they are down again also. Roadrunner down. And US Xpress, like I'm saying, $5.94 last week, $5.51 this week. So their stock also down. These companies that do this, oh right, Desi Trucking. Did you all hear about this in California? So they closed. 45 drivers, so no warrant violation. Okay. Which is the Worker Adjustment Retraining and Notification Act. You need 50 people usually. So they just closed up shop. And the guy that started this place or whatever, super mad about it. Why did they close? Is it a trucking apocalypse? No. Bought by a private equity firm in 2018. This firm also has invested in other wonderful companies like New Century Transportation, it turns out. Private equity. This isn't the trucking apocalypse. These are private equity firms buying companies and then suddenly they close. Has your firm just been bought by a private equity company? I hope not. Desi Trucking, they hauled in California. Apparently they hauled around the vineyards in that area. That's what they said in the article. They closed up, but they were bought by private equity firm. And the guys that worked there said, look, they're going to help everybody get a job. And they were pretty mad about this whole private equity thing, but there's nothing that they can do about it right now. Kevin, that's your old truck? Oh, wow. Devin parks your truck right next to the house. Best part of living in a small town. Yeah, they don't care. So you get a small town, can just pull your truck right up there. Yep. But, I will tell you, Jeremy and Selena had their truck parked near their house as well. What do you think about the modern cab overs that they have over in Europe? I love them. Okay, I wish we had them here. They're usually, a single axle and then 3-axle trailer, but there's no reason we couldn't have the cab overs here. People like the long nose, but a lot of them super nice. And I had a Volvo on here, a picture of it anyway, a few months ago, and it's 750 horsepower from the factory. So I think that would way outrun a lot of the trucks that we have. I think they're great. Do you put a for sale sign in it every weekend? So it costs you $100 a month. Oh, so you got to pay them. Slam the door shut on the mega carriers. That would be your best bet. Certainly after your time is up, get out of there. Try to go to truck school on your own, either by paying for it, getting a loan for it, or getting the state to pay for it through the Department of Unemployment. That's the best way. You don't have to pay that back. Call your Department of Unemployment in your state and say, I want to be a truck driver. Do you have any programs? A lot of them have programs and you don't ever have to pay for it. Legend Transport is no good. Why? Just blow that out there. Why are they not any good? They say that May Trucking might be closing their doors. Who's they? And when is this happening? And I'd like to know who they are. Trucker Hershey needs to find a place to park the truck. Oh, well, you can park it right at the HQ right up there. Yeah, we're up there. I'm pointing up there in the area of GP Transco. These private equity companies only suck up profits, sell the equipment, then close the company. Eddie, that seems to be what happens, right? Falcon was owned by a private equity company. Celadon had private equity money put into it. And now Michael Desi Trucking, Michael Ducey Trucking, which is a smaller place. But again, private equity bought into it. They were open for years and years. Private equity buys them. Less than 2 years later, they're closed. Isn't that something? I would be very careful of your company. They go, big announcement, a private equity firm is buying us. Oh, well, I guess I'm quitting. Whatever happened to Triple Crown? I haven't seen them much lately. Michael Cole, your nephew, drives one in the UK. Does he like it? I know driving is different there, but I like the trucks, especially the Volvos. They have all the stuff we should have here, like heated wipers and all that stuff. Kelly, my dispatcher at Covenant, tried to make me skip your own wedding. You can imagine how well that blew over. How does that work? Do you mind still coming to work? So you get married and they go, turns out we're kind of busy here. That's crazy. Do companies not think like that's going to be a problem? And what are your long-term chances of staying then, to stay long-term when this is always in the back of your head? This is one thing. It's usually not one thing. You're like, one thing and I quit. No, it's a bunch of things that finally add up to enough where you quit. You go, and because then you remember this too. Then the next time they made me miss my wedding or wanted me to miss my wedding and this, and then this, and you're like, finally, forget it. It doesn't make any sense. Fuel mileage would be better too. Mercedes Actros is getting 9 with a 450. That's pretty good. I get in the 8s in a Cascadia here, but 9 would be good. Oh, believe me though, owner-operators in the United States, they'd never buy a cab over. They don't care if it would get 14 miles a gallon. They all buy the biggest horsepower, old Freightliner XL or something, and then call Kevin Rutherford up and say, oh, if I put $40,000 into changing the rears out, a new re-gear the transmission, get smaller tires, run 3 miles an hour less, can I get 6? Rather than just getting a truck that gets good fuel mileage. So frustrating. Listen to that. Which I've heard people do that. So one guy's like, so if I put a new rear end, a different geared rear end, I re-gear the transmission and then I go a little slower, and then I put this, all these additive things on the truck and a hydrogen system in the truck and so then I'll get 6. He's like, why didn't you spend $50,000? Why don't you just buy a truck that got better? I don't know. They have 3-axle trucks in Europe, but one is a drop axle. Oh, that'd be nice too. I mean, the trailers are usually 3 axles that I've seen. You were passed by an old Ford cab over yesterday? Holy mackerel. Where in the country are you where they're running this around? Vamp Pris, see you later. Thank you for being here. Dustin B, watch $750 bonuses coming up, so they cut my miles to 340. Oh, to compensate for the $750, and they claim 11 Western states. So far, I've only seen 3. 300. So you are a perfect person that needs a guarantee. Because if you had a weekly guarantee, it wouldn't matter if they gave you 340 miles. What is it? You must have called them. You must have called the company and said, hey, I only have 340 miles. They cut my miles to about 340. So you only had 340 miles. So you must call them and say, hey, why am I getting 340 miles? How am I supposed to live on that? Could their answer possibly be to how you go on the road and sit? What do you sit 6 days at a truck stop or something? Or are these all 50-mile loads? Don't tell me there's 7 50-mile loads in that. Yikes. What everybody's hurting for money, understand, I wish they would just tell me, hey, get out, we have a problem. We can't really give you that many miles. I know. But they may be doing it for another reason. What is their solution? What do they say to that? V8 common rail diesel pure power. I'll give you that. There's an old Ford cab over my town that does belly dumps. Really? Where do people find these things? There weren't that many of those to start with. That's the American owner-operator that will never change. I don't understand it. I want the freedom of the open road and that. Okay, but you're still running a business ultimately. And so fuel is a huge expense. Imagine if you went from, buying that 5 mile per gallon truck. What if you bought one that got 8, and its history is 8 miles a gallon? Wouldn't you be better off in the long run? It just seems like that to me. Well, I don't know. That's why company trucks usually get better fuel mileage, because the company knows they're running a business. Sometimes I think about going back to Europe and drive a truck there. Might be interesting doing over the road and go all over different countries. I think it would be. I know there's a lot of different rules there, but I think it would be fascinating to see all of Europe and stuff in a truck. Want to put a nitrous kit on if you're doing all that. People have talked about that on the show too. For some reason, they said it didn't work as good in diesels, but I remember an episode where that was brought up. GP Transco, it's funny. We tell drivers we have $1,000 guarantee, and sometimes we get, how are you the third highest paying carrier if you pay $1,000 a week? Yeah, it must be very frustrating talking to people on the phone. Recruiters must get 20 minutes and then they get an hour break to go take Prozac or something. A guarantee is different than a salary for people that may not be clear on it or whatever. A guarantee is just a minimum guarantee, so that if there's problems that are beyond your control, and this is how most companies do this, you will be guaranteed this minimum amount, whatever it is at the company. So if you have a bunch of problems, because whenever you get a problem, then that's the week of problems. Your breakdown, and then your road's closed, and then you're held up, and so you need a flat tire, then you're going to make at least $1,000. So you're not getting $1,000 every week. That would be a $1,000 a week salary, which would be an interesting way to pay people. If the salary was enough, it might not be a bad deal, but $1,000 a week guarantee. There must just be like huge buckets of Prozac and stuff that they just have to chug all day long. They just pour it into the water cooler, that 5-gallon thing, and just let it all dissolve in there. Michael Muller saw Sterling with a 156-inch sleeper. That'd be interesting if it was all redone. Top Dog Logistics, I wish Scania trucks would come to America. Okay, I'm with that too. Economic downturn is on the horizon. Not worried about it, because driving a truck, people have to eat, and they need toilet paper because they eat so much. It doesn't matter if the whole country goes on food stamps. Everybody still has to eat, and that all has to be moved around. So the drivers with the best record, that keep all your endorsements, that have time at a company, which helps, right, are going to be the ones that get work, right? So I'm not that concerned. This here in May, I think, is 18 years at one place. So even in a downturn, I think I'll be okay there. If not, with 18 years at a company, I can always just get another job. When they have to fill out your last 10 years, you just put one place down. Company X, one place. That's it. That's easy to do. And they're like, wow, you've been there all that time? Yes. So I'm not concerned about it. Even a downturn, people still have to eat, and not everybody goes broke. There's a lot of people that still have money, so no problem. They hear what they think you said, not what you said. That's true. They hear what because part of it too with drivers is they're lied to all the time by companies. So you have to kind of get past that too. You really do. So part of it is they've been lied to so many times, they just expect the next place to lie to them also. One load was I-75 burn up that 11-hour clock. Oh, one load, 175, doing that mainly sitting, stop for the next day, then 300 miles the next day. That's crazy. I would tell them, look, you got to roll me or I'm going to bounce. That's what the kids say these days. Talk like the kids these days. You're rolling me or I'm bouncing. How about that? Oh, yeah, I'm all hip. It's all hip right here. This is real talk here. Wonder what the Australian road trains get in miles per gallon. Well, if you had 3 or 4 loads, though, it wouldn't matter as much, right? Needed them. I never needed them to give me my guarantee yet at GP Transco. Very happy, Nick Best. Yeah, look, most weeks, I think this is at most places that have a guarantee. You usually don't get it. You're not going to get it every week. If you got it every week, it wouldn't be a great place, for 50. But it's for weeks when there's a problem. So if you got it a couple times a year, you'd be happy instead of getting a $400 check. That extra $600 they're giving you, they're saying, hey, you know what? You're on the road. You had problems. We're still going to pay you. So I think it's a great thing at all companies that do it. I'd like to see every company doing it. Trucker Hershey, what company? Yeah, Company X is what I would write down on that list. A GP Transco driver was terminated here a couple weeks ago related to criminal issues. Ugh. A week ago, he called us from jail asking for us to bail him out. No way. So he waited in that line behind those phones. Jail calls are collect. So are you serious that somebody answers the phone there and then they get a call? This is the call from up there. It's probably Joliet, right? Because I'm thinking Blues Brothers. This is a collect call from the Joliet State Penal Institution or whatever. Penitentiary. Do you accept charges? That you should have recorded that call. I mean, because that's just incredible. Well, the call's already being recorded. You just can't. You need that copy of that recording because it says this call is being recorded. That would be priceless. Just a priceless call. I play it at every orientation. Every orientation. Classic. Kelly, economic downturn's a perfect time to invest, especially in the stock market. Oh, right. Invest in things when they're on sale. It doesn't Warren Buffett talks about that, right? Oh, yeah. When things are on sale, that's when you buy them. Absolutely. Not everybody is hurt by a downturn. But if you have 43 jobs in the last 4 years, you may have a problem getting a job if your place goes. So, your job and all that, that's maintaining yourself. Timothy says GP Transco allows you to choose your truck up to and including the trucks that they may have available, Scania 730 with a V8 diesel, 2,500 pounds of torque, and max towing up 350 tons. Oh, that'd be super good. There'd be some owner-operators here that would get that if it was in a conventional. GP Transco says we don't actually let people choose their trucks. That's first come, first serve, and only when possible. They let a driver choose. You might get to choose your truck. That's why I say here at GP Transco, you're not guaranteed a teal truck or any certain truck. They might have one. They might not have one. It just depends. No truck is guaranteed. You might get one. Then again, you might not. Trucker Hershey already called a teal truck, though. Well, once he calls it, you can't go back. So there's no givesies backsies. So, absolutely. Some good power Scania in a good truck. Peter bought DAF a few years ago. I just don't see... I think they could have 2,000 horsepower. I just don't think owner-operators would buy a cab over. Or not many of them. A Pokemon champion hyped gamer. Sweet. First time seeing the live stream. Love the content. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. What are your initials? If you don't mind, we want to know what's available when you come to orientation. All right, TH are the initials, right? Let's see, what else did I have here? I had this other... oh, right. How about this thing? I found this picture, right? Anybody deliver fuel out there? Where's my fuel delivery drivers? This is a 1940 Dodge fuel truck. All right, sweet. There'll be trucks like this. Not this truck, but there'll be trucks. There's a truck show at Mid-America also where people bring in their trucks, kind of a shine and ride polish kind of thing out there where you can walk around the trucks. And there's a room with antique trucks and stuff in there. It's a lot of fun. I hope that you'll come and see all those trucks. So that's pretty good. 1940 Dodge. Yikes. Shiny side up, rubber side down. Always love your content and what you do for us. I appreciate it, and thank you for that. That's very much appreciated. Thanks for being here for that. Scania is owned by Volkswagen, so I hope they buy Navistar. International might get some engines over here. Oh, great. And then International can give them all their MaxForce technology over to Volkswagen. So Legend Transportation does not communicate over the Qualcomm. I've been waiting for this, right? Whatsoever, that's how they hose you because of it's documented, it's all over the phone. Oh, no, I wouldn't talk to him on the phone. No, tell him no. We're going to text. especially if they're being like this. We're going to text or we're going to do Qualcomm. What is an example of what they're saying on the phone that they won't write down? What are they saying? Oh, do this or something, but they won't write it down. I'd love to know what that is. And do they not have ELDs there? That's usually the problem. As long as it's clean inside it runs, hop in and get rolling and make some money. You want to be picky, become an owner-operator. Well, when you're an owner-operator, they're picky, but then they're calling Kevin saying that they're not getting any fuel mileage. And I agree with you. Look, but I want a truck where everything works. Like I want air conditioning. I don't want to drive around in a truck that is all horrible. A nicer truck, companies do this too. Some companies will save money and buy a bunch of older trucks, but a nicer truck rides better, and I think the driver's safer. They're more rested. It's not as stressful. There's that part of it too. Not just, oh, I want a nice truck, but, I don't want to be all stressed out during the day and all these rattles and everything where stuff's not working. You want everything in the truck to work, and the mirrors aren't all, oh, everybody's had this. Their mirrors are all wobbly like this. That's no good. That's not safe, and it doesn't make for a good day of driving, and you're much more likely to have an accident. And newer trucks are safer, just like a car. Every 10 years, they said the car doubles the amount of safety that it gets. So they say if you're running a 10-year-old car, they've talked about this on like Consumer Reports and stuff, you're much more likely to be killed in an accident than a newer car. So that's why they recommend people get a newer car. Consumer Reports does, because it's safer. They're not the ones that sell a car. They also don't take any money from the car manufacturers. Buy the newest car you can, especially if you have a family in that, or just for yourself, just to be safer. They would buy an old Kenworth or Pete cab over maybe. I agree with maybe, but the Scania, you see some owner operator that calls in buying a Scania. What does Scania? Right. He goes, I went to the doctor. I got rid of it. I ain't buying another one. Been driving a Pete for years, so used to that, but really don't care as long as it doesn't break down. Okay. Heartland Express will not let you talk on the phone, hands-free. If you're caught, you're fired. Do they have cameras? Why don't they let you talk hands-free if you have a headset? What is the deal of that? How do you call a customer? How do you call for directions? How do you call anybody? So, and if they don't have a camera, I guess it wouldn't matter, but you need the old dispatcher buster to voice recorder. That's correct. Oh, they still sell those? What they do is manipulate your time in and time out of drops and how long you have been there and why you're doing it all over the phone, not even a text. Nice. I wouldn't take their call. Tell them, look, this is going to be the last call. We're going to have to talk, on the phone. And some companies, this is the problem with an ELD. They edit your time. They can't edit your drive time, but they can squeeze all this other time together to get you more time. And all that does is catch up with a company, and drivers either quit or get in accidents. That's no way to run a business. While Bill is here, Mark, a request, please. My wife is mad at me and she's listening to the show. Could you mention to Peggy that I love her? While Bill is madly in love with you and said he is quickly going to buy you a new car if you would just talk to him some more. GP Transco also loves you. Kelly, the Jubic truck stops in Portland keeps a flow of the restored antique trucks in the restaurant. Oh, that's super nice. Right. That'd be a good place. The only complaints I have with my company is the camera facing me. I drive at night because of that. Those cameras can see at night. Let me tell you, people have sent me videos. It looks like daytime inside the truck. So I know they could, because the dash cam that I have, which probably costs way less than these things, can see you at night. So there's no reason why the camera can't see you. You got to ride around with that Richard Nixon, the classic Richard Nixon mask on. Cabovers are the first at the scene of an accident. Yeah, you're the first through the accident. A couple of times they called me and said to deliver on personal conveyance. No. And I said that's illegal. Not only that, but I have half an hour. And they said it's unlimited personal conveyance. Yeah, it's maybe unlimited, but you can't go delivering loads on personal conveyance. A place like that is never going to, they're never going to succeed doing that. When they have to bend the rules in that, they're cutting stuff so close that they're not going to succeed, and they're not going to keep drivers. Nobody wants to be doing all this illegal stuff. And I would tell you, don't do it, because there's a problem. That's on you. You're not allowed to do it no matter what the company says. You're better off getting fired for it and then writing them up. But the problem is they're never going to write it down. They're not going to write that down. Went to Legend Orientation. Safety director said, watch your back. Everyone here will throw you under the bus. And the rest of the orientation staff brought their children to work with them. Nice. Well, Bill is a guy, so he's wrong. Oh, you need an understanding spouse to record your phone calls. Just tell them the call is being recorded. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Record it at the beginning. Say, hey, because you won't, I would tell them that. Because we're not going to do this in writing, I'm going to record this phone call. So everything you say is being recorded. And see what happens. Well, I'd be curious to what they would say about that. Would they hang up on you or fire you? See, the problem is they're going to start finding stuff to write you up for and fire you. And so you're going to have to keep very good records of absolutely everything that's going on. But yeah, tell them you're recording the call. Well, Bill, you're quite welcome. I hope you're back in the good spot there. Has anyone tried snow boots they sell at the Iowa 80? How effective are they? You mean snow socks? I think it's better than chaining up, probably. It seems like it's easier, but from what people have told me, and I'm sure somebody will chime in here, that once the road gets dry, I have to take them off immediately. They don't last long. So they have to be on and off only on snowy roads. They do seem like they're easier. JJ, you're right, Mark. Trucks are like girls. All of them are unique and have their own personalities. Some trucks, different suspensions will have you bucking over bumps and throw your back out. All I want is a decent truck that, you don't feel like you're dead at the end of a day of working. DOT is targeting personal conveyance. It's the first thing they look for. Yeah, if you have how do you put a delivery on there? A personal conveyance, and then what? You're on duty at a delivery? They probably just stay off duty at that place. You're going to have a problem. You're eventually going to get caught for it, and you're going to eat that ticket. And then, ironically, they'll turn around and throw you under the bus and say, hey, we're going to let you go. We can't have people doing this stuff. That kind of stuff never turns out good. And a company that wants you to do that, I'm sure they have other problems too that you know about. It's just not worth being there. Winner of the TV from last week. Your TV is coming from Amazon tomorrow or Wednesday. That's pretty good. I think he is on here. I believe I saw him earlier on here. So that is really good. I have to get ready to head out to go make my company some money. Don't forget about the stock prices, right? Which I can't believe, right? Down Roadrunner down again, 720 to 691. And US Xpress down from 594 to 551. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Every week. They're down every week, right? So I am going to head over to my place. Where did all this go? I want to also thank GP Transco for being here today on the show, answering questions and talking about the guarantee and a jail call. That if you had that call, I mean, that would be incredible. You probably don't, but that is I would tell that story at orientation. You should tell the story even if you don't have the call. That is an incredible look inside what really happens. They have teal trucks. They don't guarantee it. They give you $1,000 a week guarantee, but it's not a salary, right? You're going to make more than that most weeks. But if you get to have problems, you're still going to make you $1,000. Talk to them at GP Transco. Fleet Nav Systems was here earlier today, and I appreciate them coming in and answering e-log questions. Check them out. Also go see Jay. I mentioned Jay twice today since I forgot him last week at CTS Business Coaching, 8 p.m. live Tuesdays right here on YouTube. How about that? And Gracie is going to consider that. What to do? This is what Gracie is thinking about right now, of course, because what else do cats think about, basically? You should also join OIDA. I forgot to mention this some weeks, but you should join OIDA. By the way, you can join them at the show, if I remember, for $25 for a year. So if you're coming to Matt's and want to join, hang out, join them at Matt's, throw them 25 smackaroonies and join them right there on the show. Smackaroonies, that's slang for cabbage. Okay, and we all know that. Them dames know what I'm talking about for that kind of stuff, which we had before earlier. We record all calls internally, but probably shouldn't share. Yeah, probably not. But look, it's just super great. If it's announced that it's recorded, you could. But I mean, you can certainly share the story, even if you don't share the phone call. So the story can always be shared. So today, let's see. First today, I had Wild Bill on my screen today. Michael Muller was first on Wednesday and sent me a screenshot. Irishman did send me a screenshot, but later in the day, who he insisted, I'm first, but he was not first on the screenshot. So I'm amazed by that, and I super appreciate that people take the time to do that. It is really great having everybody. So Michael Muller is here today. Thank you for being here. Alexandra was here while Bill came in. Dustin, talking about them, right? Thank you for being here. Dragon 51. Kelly came in today. I appreciate seeing you. Pokemon Champion Hyped Gamer, which I love that name of that channel. Thanks for being here today. JJ was here today. I appreciate you being here. Trucker Hershey came in. I love it. Timothy Kelly was here. All right. It's good to see you. Misty was here today. Thank you for coming in. Nick Fast was here. James Faust, I appreciate seeing you today. Jeff Proctor was here. Al Johns. Everybody was here. I've got tons of people were here today. Top Dog Logistics. What's up, dog? Michael Cole was here. It's good to see you. I don't know what I'm talking about. Devin was here today. Okay, so I'm looking at that. And let's see where we're going here. Vamp Priss, right. I can't, there's too many people, of course, to get to everybody. Ronald Hurst, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate everybody coming in. I don't say that enough. The thing is, I take this time out of your day, and I feel like I'm taking your time out of your day. You could be working or whatever, but you're here on the show, and that, I really appreciate that. And it's good to see everybody every week. That even one person comes in is really something to me. Really, it really is. So I appreciate that. And thank you all for being here. I have to go make my company some money or they will be yelling at me, I guess. So we'll see you all on the show next week. Be sure to write in and check out some more videos this week, all right? Thanks for being here. Being safe in the snow. We'll talk to you next Monday.